When I was level up, when we first started talking about, you could sign up for 4 classes, or can you sign up for
Yeah,
one?
you
I've
can sign
signed
up
up
for
for more
more.
than that.
You can sign up for as many, as 4 sets a day,
Okay,
so you can take, 4 a day, so that's 12.
okay. I'll look into it again.
Sure.
I'm sorry, what is this meeting event y'all are talking about? I must have missed that part.
It's called
Level
Level
up.
Up. Big header somewhere. These guys will say about it. It's a big
So
we're planning on having.
level up is our first turning event. We as Worldwide would turn on 17th, 19th of September up in Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin. And we got about 20 coaches that are teaching unique projects. You have the opportunity to sign up 4 classes a day, 3 days. It's going to be a training event,
Hey,
and,
yourself.
you're guaranteed to go home at least with, if you take 12 different classes, you got the opportune time to go home with completed projects or 12 projects that you'll be able to finish up on your own back in your home shop.
And what's the cost of that, Dane?
The cost of it is $160, and you're going to get fed.
Is that per day?
That's for the whole 3 days of festivities. $160 plus chow, and I'm trying to run a fundraiser to extra funds in and to provide lunch.
Whoever just asked the question, introduce yourself.
That twice the price.
We're
Right?
getting fed. We getting that top shelf gourmet bologna sandwiches.
We're actually going to step it up and do one better than that. We're going to move on from the canned spam and the redskin bologna. We're going to have something even better than that.
Not much better than spam.
I hear you. Yeah.
Peanut butter jelly.
I like treat better, but
Take some potted meat if you got any extra.
no Vienna sausage.
Don't forget deviled ham in there.
Those
Yeah.
of you that are in the meeting that don't have
And
your
a soft.
cameras on, turn them on.
You got potted meat's a good thing too, you know.
It can
Oh
be.
yeah. What is it? Deviled ham.
Deviled ham.
Yep.
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 When I was a kid, I used to love that stuff. I don't know why.
Right.
Probably garbage.
I like
Sardines too.
My mom
Dave?
would fix.
Yeah.
On to level up. I need a hotel room. How,
there's
what's the payment
hotels flux upset.
So there's all kinds of hotels up there, but we have a block of rooms that are reserved specifically for folks attending Level Up at the Hotel Mead, which is a resort up there, and it's about half down the road from where our venue is going to be at, and we got a room rate of $130.
wow.
Something that's typically around $200 a night. And that's available from September 14th through September 24th.
She quoted me higher than that until I level up.
That's quite a drive, an hour and a half each way.
An hour and a half, huh? Well,
How
that would
fast
be,
you driving?
and if you just wanted to do one day, it's 80 per day. Do a Thursday and it'd be 160, or I don't know why you'd pay for 2 days when you get free for the same price.
Right.
There have been people that are, well, I can only make it there on a Thursday and a Saturday. So, and some we have on-lave activities. Also have off-lave activities that you'll be able to learn embellishment skills.
Well,
Try and bring up the web page here, and I'll do a share screen. So you level up. Let's do it. So here's the address, Wisconsin Rapids, the Lions Club up there. Here's one of our little flyers.
Oh, that's one I've seen before.
Oh, I've been putting it out there. List of our coaches there. Got the telephone number for the hotel mead. All you do is call, talk to the front desk, tell them level up, and they'll hook you up at $130 a night this room rate. And then with the project be taking place. So we got ingrain bowls or indoor. We got to update this or flat square platter, bowl turning, effective use of the bowl gouge, napkin ring holders. This guy here, he's coming over from England to show you that. We got Matt here. He's doing live edge bowl. We got all kinds of stuff going on.
And I signed up for classes, but I forgot what I signed up for. How would I find out?
I can send it to you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Dewey, you make me feel better. I don't remember either.
Yeah, me too.
So if you,
Yeah, I think we're at the age Dane will be having to hand us out what we signed up for.
If you've forgotten what you signed up for, put your name in the chat and I'll mail one out or email one to you.
I forgot what I went in the other room for just a minute ago.
So Dave, what did you say to check what?
I
Put your
don't
name
know.
in the chat so I remember who it is.
I don't know what else.
Wants a copy, I'll email it to you. If you've forgotten what you've signed up for.
Okay, so do we send you a notice? Is that what you mean, Dave?
Put it in the chat or you can email it to the webmaster, whichever. I'll get you a copy of your list of things. Of pods.
Thanks, Dave.
Webmaster at Worldwide.
That's it. Webmaster.
Well, I'm going to send you an email.
You don't mention it to me, I won't know, I won't remember. But if you've emailed it to me, I'll know for sure and get it out to you this evening.
Okay.
Chris, if you could hear without choosing classes.
Just put it in the chat here. So you can sign up through the donation link for the 160. But if you don't register through the level up registration where you select your classes, then you won't have at the lathe, to do a project, and we won't know if we have an open lathe until and we see who actually shows up, and or if there's any last minute cancellation. So you won't have a guaranteed slot for a project you want to do. So we got 4 pods. And within those pods, there's 6 lathes available for who is signing up. So that's why I keep emphasizing. If you plan on signing, it's better to get now as opposed to another couple of months, because registration off at the end of July. Got to have final numbers because of food and numbers count. How to get off to various resources. So we've got that functionality locked in our part. So keep that in mind.
Good.
I got a question about level up, bringing our tools.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about, to carry, idea. I'm gonna ask, if this sounds doable or that it would work. It would be a good idea. But what I'm thinking about doing is getting like a medium-sized, hard-cased suitcase
Me too.
and putting layers of foam
Oh, okay.
between each of the layers of tools, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking
How
bubble
many,
wrap, same
how many
thing.
how many tools are you gonna be bringing?
Two.
No?
5-gallon bucket.
That way you guys can all for me or reshape them.
There you go.
Harbor Freight might have something.
Yes, they have some, they have some good leather tool caddies. Basically, they wrap up and they're pretty good. I use a 5-gallon bucket. I put
Sand.
one inch PVC pipe inside there. I put and glued them and zip tied them all together, and they're to the side. And I only use about 5-6 tools in general. So all the tools I use fit in that, and I can put things like an extra parting tool and maybe the spiraling tool and so on. And there's room for sharpening card, some other stuff. And my face shield fits on top of that and goes down in the bucket too. So the 5-gallon bucket is a really good, and you'll see it at Level Up, because I'll carry that to every lathe I use. My tools are all right there.
Well,
I use the 5-gallon bucket too, but instead of PVC pipe, I've used the foam pipe insulation.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
Just cut a bunch of lengths of, and that way you can just stick the down in there.
Sam, could you lower your camera, please, so I can see your whole face?
Oh, you know what? I'm all slouched down in my.
Oh, there you go. There you are.
Brenda,
I got my feet. I started back at the gym and myself out today. I'm all slouched down with my feet up on another chair.
Brenda,
yeah.
something else that you can use is noodles.
Yeah, that's what I thought when he mentioned the foam. Yeah, I thought pool noodles. Yeah. I hardback suitcase would be easier to carry around, because the wheels.
Right. I have to do that, Brenda, because I'm the only way I'm going to get my stuff there.
Yeah, if you're flying, you need one suitcase. You're right.
Yeah, so I have I have 2 suitcases, so I have extra fee, but it's the only, because you think of burners, you got all kinds of.
Right.
And so I'm gonna be limited on the number of tools, but I figure, well, that's okay. I'll just sit and watch other people. I came to meet the people, or I'm coming to meet the people.
Yeah, a lot of us are. Yeah.
Yeah.
They call this a family reunion.
That's right.
Warner's family reunion.
That's right.
That's what I'm looking at.
Yep.
Al, I'm not under any delusion that I'd be able to prevent speaking to anybody, so don't worry about that.
Well, you're not bringing any tools, are you?
No, if I take a shower in my hotel in the morning, I'm not getting dirty in the afternoon.
Oh, crying out. They don't charge you if you take 2 showers a day. It's all inclusive.
Come on, I'm here I can't wait to meet you guys, and
yeah.
Well,
I'll be watching everybody all the time.
There you go.
Do you think this is something? Do you think this is something the club might repeat in a couple of years? I guess depends upon the success rate, but I really want to go. I want to meet all you guys, but my mom has got like late stage Alzheimer's, so I don't think it's reality.
We've talked about biennially. That's every 2. But again, it's depend on how successful this first one is and logistics and how well. We're just gonna have to play it by ear.
Right. Yeah, it's our first time.
It's all by word of mouth.
I will say that after we ran the first Campbell hands out, we didn't want to wait 2 years. We insisted that we run it every year. So we made change. I like the idea of putting it out there every 2 years and allowing flexibility to move it up if we feel the need. So
right.
I can't describe how much fun getting all with a bunch of turners is. So much
Right.
fun.
Yeah.
I understand why they'd only do it every year, because it's a lot of work for the guy to put it on.
Yep.
Right.
Yep, that it
I'm
is.
sure
Well,
it is.
It gets
There's
easier.
a
Yeah,
lot of
well,
moving parts.
subsequent,
Lessons learned.
or get together should be easier because most of the processes are already in place.
Right.
Yeah, you're building the system now. So yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have it in the same place every year, the hotel and the venue are familiar with the organization, and you're
Right.
going to be familiar.
As long as nobody
And-
misses the one, they'll tell people it's in.
Yeah,
Well,
the venue will.
anybody misbehaving will be dealt with hard and will be shown the way out the premises and down the highway. Because
Uh-oh.
there will be zero chance of misbehavior.
Yeah,
Define-
but what's,
we better do,
what's
we better define
Fine
that.
misbehavior now.
Define it.
I have fun, but
Definition of
I'm there to.
We
I
we
turn
all
it
learned
over.
we all
funny.
learned
That
in
was right there.
kindergarten how to behave. So
That was funny
Well,
right there.
if we're gonna have zero
Don't teach that
tolerance for
anymore.
behavior, I might ought to just stay home.
Right.
They don't teach them how to misbehave, not to misbehave anymore.
That's true.
well, we're going.
I wanted to go to
I
a.
think we're gonna have a great time. We're gonna have
Oh, yeah.
everybody have a thing in mind. Want to meet.
So Jamie, did you have any other questions on Level Up?
Oh, yeah, vendors. Are there going to be vendors there?
We're working on it. We've got a couple. We've had commit and then they back.
I know Kirk's gonna be there.
That was
Yeah.
the only question I had. I just,
Cat
I missed
Creation's going to be
what you were
there.
talking about.
Dane, there's one thing you forgot. That you would like each member of the thing bring 2 items
Yeah.
to auction off to raise funds.
Thank you, Dale. Because a lot of people would like to own a little bit of art from here worldwide. So if you're coming up, try to bring 2 pieces. If you can't, that's fine. But so we can put and selling too. Put them in the auction, and we'll try to raise a little bit of funds on final day there. So
Gallery also, so we could bring things to gallery and
sure,
and not require to auction them.
Yes.
You're going to have a.
Yes.
Are you going to?
Absolutely.
Are you going to do a virtual gallery, Billy?
What do you mean?
Virtual gallery.
That's
No.
where you take your camera and walk around. Like.
Oh,
do
you
it-
mean film it like I do at SWAT?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're going to do the meeting from Level Up, right? That Wednesday night.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, but I'll have a video of.
Yeah, there's going to be Billy's.
The gallery. I'll have video of all stuff going on at Level Up.
Agent. We'll have stuff going on with the other folks that do YouTube. Of course, our channel. We'll be doing it, with our YouTube channel. So, absolutely. So, well, what a great discussion. Any other questions on Level Up?
Yeah. The Lions Club wants to be able to come in on Saturday afternoon and see because a lot of them don't know what wood turning is. And I told them that we would have a gallery area and they could stand outside the building and as people are turning. So please bring some gallery stuff, some nice artwork so they can understand what we do.
Cool.
And the Lions Club is the facility compound that has been so gracious to us for a super extraordinary cheap rate.
Oh, nice.
I would
invite
welcome
them
in and let them walk and get the whole atmosphere.
Yeah, I don't think we need to exclude them, just have to be careful around them.
Right.
Well,
That's all.
they're just going to stand back so that they're safe, right?
Right.
Right. We could
In the audit, back in the audit, you know, where anybody wants to audit can sit back, you know, they'll be out there hanging out with Al.
Yeah, with me.
Yeah, you can't have right up against the lathe, but
Right.
We're not responsible for all
I'll
of
be
them.
all cleaned
that'll
up
be
with
good.
my shower.
Right.
You're going to be the cleanest man there, Al.
Hey, I've tried. But things don't seem to work out.
Every morning.
Oh, see me after hours. That's
Very good. Well, also, you know, the other thing that I haven't mentioned since we're talking about this, that, and the other before we get started here with gallery is we do have club stickers available. $1.75 for purchase in America, $2.70 for purchase worldwide. And as you can see, I got a whole bunch of them. And then we have club patches for your smocks.
Yep. I'm going to send you some money. I got a new smock, so I need to have a couple.
Okay.
I got mine.
Well, you have to have everything you own.
Mine's on my smock, which I will be wearing at Level Up.
The smocks, the smock patches, show them on your hat, show them on your t-shirt, whatever you want. Those are $7.50.
$7.50. Yeah.
And they're shipped worldwide. You know, so even if you live in Canada or South Africa or Uganda, $7.50.
Okay, so you don't have to add any postage cost?
No.
Okay.
Nope, that's a hard price. We've got the factored into the price. Take all the guesswork out.
Cool.
So if you don't have one, you need to get one because your lathe stop getting catches. And if you got a guaranteed, and if you use your lathe, it'll make it quieter.
Well, guaranteed got a little thin enough to
go.
If you got a little
stick them in your ear for that or what?
And it tries to bounce around on you, it won't bounce as much. It'll have to do it a two-step up to, you know, with your dance.
Dane, I put one on my lathe and it started at me.
I put one on my on the radio.
Case in point. So, folks, we got people on here, and I know we're going to get about 8 more right before the demo. So let's go ahead and get some gallery action going on. Matt, take us away.
We're going to Dewey first. Hey, Dewey.
Oh, hello. Yeah, I got to pick this one up. I made a big one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Oh, look at that shot.
I can see myself. I see myself right there.
My God.
Looks great.
The heck did you do that?
Huh?
How in the heck did you do that?
That's I'll tell you what, this is maple that was punkified and petrified. And when I started turning, it made me terrified. And, but then I realized, then later on, I knew it was justified. So then I sandified and colorified and resinified, and now I'm satisfied.
Oh my God!
Wow.
That's hilarious.
You wrote all that down, and you were just reading it.
No, I can't remember. I can remember my name every once in a while.
Dewey's the man of the hour, too sweet to be sour. And on the rise.
What did you put on that, Dewey?
Different colors.
Resin.
What do you have? There's colors. What do you have there?
Okay, the process was I got out, once I got it sanded down and kind of sealed it, you know, you try to counteract. I got out my handy dandy airbrush, and I just, no, this is what I did. I'm sorry. I'm having a brain. Anyway, I got myself some clear cast resin, got it mixed up, put it in a fairly sized glass container, and then I got some dye for resin, and I'll put drop here, a drop there, and just kind of just a little bit. Then I take my brush and dip it in, and then I just started brushing on it. Just, you know, because then you get different colors at different depending on where you dip your brush. So that's how.
Like what Todd showed us last week.
I get.
Except with resin.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so I did that, and then that's how it all it did. It different colors in the, you know, and
That's spectacular, Dewey. Nice.
It is.
Yes.
Yeah,
And that was amazing.
Anyway,
Is that what you used?
the inside is with Dane's favorite finish.
Tung oil.
Well, no, it's boiled linseed oil.
Oh, linseed oil. Okay.
Yeah, and this, I'm happy with this base. I'm gonna take it because it doesn't really match. So the reason I put this on there.
I'm glad you said that. I was wondering what that was.
It's a bowl that I turn, I have it around, and I wanted to cover up. I used a face plate on it because it was so heavy. When I first started out, the wall thickness was about, I don't know, about that thick. We'd piece, then we did some coring, and it left a big thick piece there. And I said I didn't want to put it on shelf. I'll use the face plate. And it's got screw holes in the bottom of it, so I'll put that on there to cover it up. But I'm gonna take that off. I'm gonna do something different to make it match. But anyway, there it is.
It's a beautiful piece.
Yes, beautiful.
How big is it?
I don't know. I'll measure it. Hold on.
It's a pretty big
15 inches or so.
It's
more than that.
Here's my 24-inch stick. 14 and a half inches.
Wow.
Around 5 inches.
It's a nice piece.
Looks bigger than that in the screen.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
That's because the screen adds 10 pounds to you.
I know one thing. It's heavy, but anyway,
all the resin, it's all over your shop right now.
It's on the floor. Yeah, it dripped on the floor.
Now you're going to take that bottom off.
Protect the concrete.
What's that?
Very nice, Dewey.
So the concrete floor up. That's all.
Dude, was that amazing you used?
Yeah. No, I used Aluminite.
Yeah.
Aluminite.
Clear cast. Yeah.
That's what I use. Heat it up. But when I get it started, I get it heated up, and then I put it on. And then once you get it on, you got to heat it some. You hit it with a hair dryer, then you keep it hot, so it all levels out. And this stuff, believe it or not, this stuff was so punky, sucking up that resin like it was.
I bet.
Coke through a straw.
Believe it.
I had to turn the first coat off because it so freckled up. So anyway, it was real. It was fun. I guess it was real fun.
Nice.
You know. So anyway, but I really like the inside. It really looks nice.
Yes, it does.
Beautiful.
Very nice. Very nice.
So anyway, thank you guys.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Dewey. Next up is Dave. Hey, Dave. Oh, not that Dave. You guys switched on me. This Dave.
Well, it's not that big. No. Believe it or not, I did some bowls this week.
Beautiful.
And
No.
2 of them came out pretty well. And 3 of them.
Ooh,
Yeah.
nice size there.
And then the prettiest bowl that I've worked on in ages.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Nice Spalding.
Right up until the last,
Oh, mercy.
Oh,
I almost had to,
and
turn completely off, and bam,
oh man.
had to Band-Aid brigade again.
Oh, no.
But
Congratulations.
I had it standing off to the side, which I've
There you go.
learned through prior experience. So that the only thing that was in the way was my hand, because I had to hold the tool with something.
All right.
But
Oh, it's still nice work. And
it's been a good week.
You might cover it, Dale,
Yeah.
Dave.
I don't know how.
Cut
Because
the rim off.
this is real wonky. And
Out of it. Make a carving some way out of it, you know? Carve it, you know, finish what you but right there.
well, I have just designer firewood.
There you go.
I like that. I
All
like
right. Well,
that. a lot.
it's still nice work this week. Very good
Yeah.
job.
Yeah, I had a good week. It was good fun. And
Never give up.
finish I got on this was just so beautiful that it's frustrating, but that's the way the belly buttons.
Indeed.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you,
Oh.
Dave. Next up is Dale.
Hey, I got a small little maple bowl. I put first was denim blue, and then I threw some sky blue on top of that. A coat of 3408, and then a couple of 2X clear semi-gloss.
Very
nice.
That's a pretty color. That's a pretty color, Dale.
I like it.
Then on the inside, I just used a salad bowl finish. So you can put your candy in it and it'll be safe to eat.
Or salad.
Well, it's big enough for a salad. It's deep enough, but it's not really big around.
Okay.
I like the way you think. I like big cell.
And then my first attempt at a mushroom.
Okay.
First I put a dark green color on. It was still wet. I put that navy blue on top of it and kind of turned it a little purplish. And the stem part was after I got it round, it was completely turned with a skew. I did some skew practice.
Nice.
Nice.
There you go. Is
And
it also a box?
No, just the stem.
Okay, cool.
And that's finished. I put one coat of 3408 and then 5 or 6 coats of OB shine juice on top of it.
Wow.
And then I didn't do it the way Martin did, but I tried one of my projects in his book. Didn't quite as good as Martin's. And that's just
would you bring that further away from the camera? There you go. Okay.
Didn't come out as Martin's. I'm not well.
I just sit here and just have moved.
Spindles I have a hard time with because
I just sit there and wait
right
till
now
I
I
take a
don't
shower. I
have,
sit here.
right now I don't have a good spindle
I
gouge.
just sat here.
I ruined my spindle gouge before I got good sharpening equipment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting for my spindle gouge and a new bowl gouge to come, and I ordered them on Friday yet.
There you go.
I hope they get there soon.
They're supposed to be. Nope, it's just beast.
Very nice.
Okay.
That's
Very
it
cool.
for
Thank
today.
you. Thank you, Dale.
Mm-hmm.
Next up is Roger. Hey, Roger.
Well, I was playing with some more of my honey locust.
Oh, wow.
Ooh,
Oh,
oh,
look at that.
yeah.
He dyed the outside.
That's pretty.
And then I made a live edge bowl. The bark all
Very
stick
nice.
set right there.
That's why the gods gave us fire.
Like it.
Yeah, I like it too.
Roger.
Ooh,
There's a nice one.
a little bigger.
Very nice.
Pretty.
Got that nice black
All
streak
the bark
I like
stayed
that
on the
black
pecan.
stripe in the middle.
What's that?
I like that black middle of the bottom there. That's just so.
That's the pith.
like, yeah, it's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Reason number 45 to leave the pith in your bowls. Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Mother Nature is such an artist. Give you a piece
What's
of wood
that?
like that. Mother Nature is such an artist to give you a piece of wood.
Yes.
Is it
Pecan.
Wow.
Interesting.
Doesn't look anything like the pecan I have.
No.
Anyway, that's what they told me it was. I got a whole truck. So that's all I've got for tonight.
Thank you, Roger. Nice work. Next up is Pat. Hey, Pat.
Good evening. I've been weak. Turned a box out of a piece of cherry.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Nice on the
lid.
lid.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Got it inside.
Yep. I turned the light over.
Oh, that looks good.
Your
Because you
audio is
can,
so
right?
distorted.
Really good.
Yeah, look at that.
That's pretty.
It's like
Man.
a sun in there.
That's
Yeah.
pretty. Looks pretty.
I
Is
turned
that,
another
is,
one.
that, is that a natural color, Patrick, or did you put some dye on it?
It's
Natural color? Wow, that's a beauty.
that's natural pecan for this
Wow.
area.
That's so pretty. Wow.
Yes, it is.
Wow.
I turned another one in the dish out of it.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Well, I turn it over. I want to see the back of it. Look at how I undercut those things. I'm like, wow.
Beautiful.
Right.
Like a rototiller blade.
It
Yeah,
does.
okay.
It does.
Explain, Pat. Explain how that happened.
Wow.
Every one of them.
How did that happen?
Your grooves where your hands are on your pedestal. You make it. Yes.
Done with the micro and carbon burr.
Mm.
And did it on the index,
Yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah.
and then the flutes are gold, and the wood is pear.
Wow.
Really nice.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
Patrick, your audio is a little distorted. And then it,
Buzzes real bad.
yeah.
What's going on with
Yeah.
this is a holophone
Oh,
out
wow.
of sprouted
Yeah, I
sweet
saw that.
milk.
On Facebook
I
today.
saw that on Facebook.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
And
Very
the
cool.
top finial is pear.
Oh
Wow.
wow.
Beautiful. Just beautiful.
Great
And
job, Pat.
one last piece.
Wow. You did all that in a week?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a slow week.
It's like,
Oh, wow.
wow.
That's a piece of pear.
Wow.
That-
That is a piece of pear.
that-
Wow. That's a
Now,
beautiful.
That is that under the underbark that all the little channels was that under the bark or did it was on?
That was under the bark. That is worm trails.
Wow.
Wow. That's crazy.
Isn't it?
That's
Oh, it's amazing.
That's one big worm. I'll have to say that.
One hungry.
Mother Nature again.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's really, I mean, it ain't worth to explain that. So
Beautiful.
That's pretty.
It really is. Yeah,
Yes.
that's exceptional.
that's definitely a Phil Anderson right there.
Yeah.
No, that's a Patrick.
That is.
Phil, he kept as much as he can normal and natural.
I like
Did you
the
catch
offset lid that you made. I like that.
Yeah, I decided that would go better than trying to get it all centered and looking. It's not a piece. So
No, it's not.
Right.
Right.
Hey,
Perfect fit.
It was a challenge to turn. This side is thicker than this side because of the flats in it.
Yeah.
This side over here is probably a quarter of an inch. This side over here is over a half inch. But
Well, did worm?
the worms had vacated the premise.
Yeah.
I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you do find worms in your pieces, they're wet. I know that.
Oh.
Yeah, they stick on face mask.
Yeah.
Spat.
That's when you thank God you're wearing a face shield.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
right. Great work, Patrick. Thank you.
Yeah, really nice.
That's all I've done this week.
What, geez, that's all? Darn.
All right, well, next we're gonna go to Al. Hey, Al.
I have to follow that.
Somebody does. Might as well be you.
Nothing a whole lot like heat, but it's a hollow vessel, a lidded vessel, on a bowl, a bowl. The finial, I made another one of ribbons. And remember when Matt, when you did the demonstration the next following week, this here is the cutout in between to make the ribbon fit. I remember I think who's the gentleman down in Texas? He did the same thing that following week. Remember Terry down there. But yeah, a hollow vessel, a lidded hollow vessel. Let's see if we can get it off. Yeah.
Oh, no, nice.
I really like your spiral ribbon finial, Al. Nice job.
Yeah. And what's the wood, Al?
I have no idea.
Mystery.
I have no idea. It's really pretty though.
It is. The wood. I like it.
Oh,
but
found on the road.
We found on the road, basically. But yeah, that's Pat. That's 5 times a week. I can only do one round. You know, this sanding stuff is for the birds. I mean, you imagine getting in there and doing all that sanding and this sands. I mean, my God, crazy.
That's why I don't do pieces like that.
Anyway, this is it for me. I hope everyone has a good night. Yeah, everybody be good.
Thanks, Al.
Now, thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody be good.
Thanks, Al.
Next up is Neil. Hey, Neil.
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
Hey, Neil.
Yeah, I done some pens. This is a piston pen.
I was going to say that's that new piston pen. I recognize
and
it.
I've got bird's eye maple donated by Wood Heap Joe.
Nice.
That's and then I gunmetal one, but I put Inja red Amboya burl on it.
Oh yeah.
I was thinking
Ambonia.
that was Ambonia burl.
Nice.
Does that
And
piston
then-
mechanism, does that piston mechanism control the pen going in and out?
Yes. You hold it so you can see it.
Hold it closer to you. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Okay.
Oh,
That's what.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I have another Indonesia burl, but this is just
What pen kit is
Nice.
that?
I picked it up at the woodcraft store. I'm not sure what, but
I've
they
bought them labeled Barrage from Exotic Blanks.
Okay. Yeah, I seen it at Woodcraft. I just couldn't remember the name.
yeah, they had another one there. It was the same thing, like a darker, almost like a gunmetal, but it was almost twice as much as this one. So
wow.
that's
I would've
all I
gone with
have.
that.
That's all I have.
Very nice.
Pretty
Very
sweet.
nice, Neil.
This is-
Nice
yeah.
work.
Yeah.
Nice work.
Yeah. I love those pens. I just saw
Yeah, me
the
too.
first 2-3 weeks ago. It was pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. All right, well, we're going to go to Paul Hannaby next.
Hello.
Hi, Paul.
Yeah, I've got something to show, but before I do, I know that the tradition here is to say nice things about what you see, but I want some honest views here. So if you don't like it, say you don't like it, offended. But there's something a bit of a different shape for me, so that's why I'm asking. So if you don't like it, say so, but it would be useful to know why.
One caveat: if you're going to say you don't
anyway,
like
this
it,
is the ball.
if you're going to say you don't like it, why you don't like it?
Yeah, yeah. It's made. It's just over 12-inch, and
Yeah.
was to make
I-
a bowl
it-
with
it's nice.
a
I like
tape
it.
bottom
Platter.
and a
Yeah.
small
Let him
foot.
talk.
So that's what I've taken the tenon off it. So it's not 100% finished, but I've made it to a customer specification. It is not my normal, but I thought, well, it's something different, something interesting. So there it is. So as you can see, it's sort of paper there, a flat foot, smallish foot. It's about a third of the bowl, and as you can see, straight.
I think the shape fits with wood that you use. That shape and the graining of the wood looks excellent. I like it.
Yeah,
Yes.
I like it, Paul.
I've always maintained that if the customer is willing to pay for it, I have no complaints. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little
if it
straight,
works
but
for the
it's
customer,
nice.
then more power to them.
I'm seeing it as beautiful.
It's a nice serving bladder.
It's
It
hors
looks
d'oeuvre.
great.
For me, I don't like the straight wall and then going down to. I don't like that.
It reminds me of a neat, deep charcuterie board. That people can just put hors d'oeuvres and slices of meat and have to worry about it falling off the side.
Right.
Right.
I like it.
What they intend to use is a fruit bowl.
Yeah, it would work.
Yeah.
Personally, I'll go for a deeper. This is what they've asked for, so I've done to their spec.
It's working a crawfish bowl.
I'm with Dane and Bob. I don't like the straight sides either. Preferred it to be a little more rounded on the outside bottom corner, but you know, like I say, if the customer wants it that way, who are we to complain?
Paying for it, so you can't cry about it.
That's right.
Hey, Paul, I might have kind of thinking that if I were doing that, I like the straight side and such, but I think I might have made the bottom kind of or the bottom side kind of match the outside and such rather than, so it's all kind of got straight line.
It's sort of a straight line from the edge, about 2/3 of the way, and a flat over where the foot would be.
Oh, that doesn't show up well on the video. Yeah, it's not showing up well on the video. So.
Yeah, it's difficult to
piece
see
of wood
that.
is
I
wood.
see it.
Get the angle right, you can
Yeah,
just about see
yeah.
the
There it
flat
is.
in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I like it, Paul.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks very fun.
So Paul, what's on it?
I mean,
I
like
was
said,
just going to
it's something different. Having, I mean, I have seen other pretty much straight-sided, flat-bottom bowls in recent times. So I thought, well, maybe experiment with this and do some more and see where it goes. I'm not done quite like this, but I've certainly made things with straight lines. And I think one of the demos I did a while ago, I did a candlestick with all straight lines. So yeah, occasionally I do things like that. So perhaps it's not too far from that concept of great, but I may experiment further.
Maybe a beater on the outside would help, but the way it is.
Yeah,
I do.
Say, how stable is it going to be when you take the tenon off?
What, sorry?
How stable is it going to be when you take the tenon?
Yeah, I mean, I would normally go for a slightly larger foot than that on a fruit bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, that's sort of, it's about a third. I measured it. We got 12.5 inches diameter, and that's about 4 in the centre there for the foot. It's about a third. I would probably go for nearer a half for a fruit bowl for stability, because if it's going to be full with heavy fruit, you need a bit of stability to it. So my preference would have been to put a bigger foot, but again, it's the customers asked for that, so I've done. They asked for a small foot, and I thought, well, that's as small as I think is realistic for its intended use. Well, I didn't go small, but I guess it's being a fairly shallow bowl. If we load it one side, it's only going to tip that.
Right.
You know, it doesn't really matter if we like it or not. It just matters if your customer likes it. That's what.
Yeah.
Yep.
I appreciate you showing that to us and asking for input. Thanks, Paul.
Very nice.
Yeah,
I
very
like
helpful to
it.
hear people's thoughts. I mean, I've been sort of polished one and thinking, do I like it or don't I? And I don't dislike it, but it wouldn't be my first choice. But yeah, it's probably sort of triggered a few other thoughts, and I may experiment with this further with a few other bowls. So you may see more on that theme.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about stealing the idea. Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Feel free.
I'd get some maple. I'm thinking.
Yeah, but I mean, this one's English oak. So again, what was asked for by the customer. So yeah. I mean, where I live, we have lots of oak trees. Going back a few hundred years, this part is where the king used to make sure that there were oak trees growing to build the ships for the naval.
Sure.
And the types of oak, what they call sessile, penundulate oak, I think is the other one. One grows and it's very good for the boards and things like that, and the other one grows with big limbs that come out low down, and those big limbs with sort of angles in them are great for the spars at the bottom. The old. So you can find both of those types of oaks as part of the world.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Did you have something else, Paul?
No, that's all I had to show.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next up is Billy. Hey, Billy.
How y'all?
Good.
Hey, Billy.
Well, in line with the stickers, the patches, these are going to be available.
Yeah.
The Fibonacci gauges. I will have them.
Golden ratio.
Golden ratio.
Golden,
yeah.
Fibonacci, golden ratio, however you want to. Tomato.
Right.
Not Fibonacci, they're golden ratios. Calipers.
I thought golden ratio was Fibonacci.
No, it's not. They're related, but Fibonacci is a sequence of numbers. Golden ratio is 1.618 to 1.
I've been taught that that's the Fibonacci scale. Anyway,
For
so
us dummies.
they're engraved. Let me turn it over. It
Ah,
says level up
there we go.
17 to 19, for 2026. Is on the other side, golden ratio caliper, Fibonacci gauge. I did not put that on there. That way. Well, I did put it on there. I engraved it. But I mean, that's the way, that's what was on the
Yep.
plan. The only thing I changed was my name and the Messy Studio, so you know where it came from. So I'm gonna have these in Baltic birch. This is 3 millimeter bulk, and I've got 3 millimeter yellow as well, or not vinyl, yellow acrylic. The problem with these is they're awfully loose because this 3 millimeter isn't the same 3 millimeter as my Baltic birch apparently. It's just a little bit, and the Chicago screws bottom, so it leaves it slot. However, I have some thin washers coming in tomorrow, and they will be put in here, so it will have some stability. Stability? Ability.
Stability. You heard it right
And
here on Worldwide. Stability.
stability and stability. So, and these are engraved as well, but you kind of have to.
I see
You got to
it.
catch it in the light.
You can see it, but it's very light. It's easy looking at it this way than it is up here.
Right.
But gonna have these price be determined, but they won't be terribly expensive. And again, the proceeds go to the club. So that's that. And I turned this gigantic. Oh,
Wow.
It's it's not Buckeye. It's Silver Burl, and I colored it. And this was punky, so it's got voids all over the place. But
how'd you apply the color?
I applied the color. I applied the colors. I used grit dye like I pretty much always do, and I applied the color in real sea sponges. I bought a package of 12. They're pieces about that were dried and vacuum packed, so they were flat. You had to wet them to get them to expand, and then wring the water out. I just used it to.
Yeah.
I used one for each color. I've got yellow, tan, red, and believe it or not, aquamarine. But finishes lighter.
It looks pretty.
Yeah.
Thank you. So
finish
lacquer.
Okay.
I just finished the final coats this morning. I need to let it cure a few days before I wet sand it, but that's what we got. Anyway,
very nice.
I'm happy with how the color turned out. I was just randomly put it over. It was black first, and I sanded most of the black off. I've got I did 2 lives doing the turning of this and then the dyeing of it. And more turning. So I did, you get up to the black with my live, and then I just put up short showing the final product. But that's what I've got.
That gauge there, I wonder any signature get put on that when I'm there.
You have to remind people to sign small.
If you these, you're not gonna getting ink to stick on one of these to be a little bit tough.
I want the Baltic birch. I want everybody to sign it.
It'd be easier. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, these open. I measured it. These open 15 inches.
Wow.
Nice.
They're 11 inches. and they open to 19 inches. The birch ones open to 19 inches as well, but it takes some doing because they're a little bit stiffer. And they'll go further than that. I just didn't do it. Do what?
They'll break in if you're using it for a bit large pieces.
They will. They'll get
easily.
They will. Ken.
I might need to get 2 of them, one for everybody to sign for me and one to use.
One to use.
Yeah. Yeah. Keep that in mind when you're making them, then, because I may need 2 of them.
Okay.
Very cool. All right. Well, thanks, Billy. Next up is Ron Pullman. Hey, Ron.
Hello, everybody. This doesn't look too clear, does it? On here.
Nope.
I don't know.
Anyway,
what
so
you got?
this week
What
I
you
was
got?
making bottle stoppers for one of my, and so they're kind of specialized to him. This is a beer barrel for him. I use the Niles bottle stoppers, Carl Jacobson's version, right? I embedded. Oh, you really can't see it. I don't know if this is going to work. No, that's work. Okay. Anyway, embedded in the top of them. So this is he had a balloon. He was a balloon pilot, so I made one of those for him. Another quarter on that one.
That's really nice.
And then this one is just a I think it was Brazilian rosewood, and it's got a quarter on it.
Oh, that's pretty. That is pretty.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
yeah, that's
That is pretty.
Yeah, pretty wood. Then I want to ask your opinion on this because I don't like it, but I made a holder for this, right? And I had my grandmother paint it with that with Anya iridescent paint. I don't.
I like it a lot. I think that's great.
Oh, well, I don't know. I think it's a little too busy and it's too small to have these kind of patterns in it, I think.
No,
But
it's
Nothing
perfect. It's
but
perfect,
old,
Ron.
Ron. You got to get with the program. You have to get with the program.
It's perfect.
Well, I made one on a maple instead. I think I'm going to send this to him instead. I've got some of my own bottle stopper that I made. So anyway, I'll use that. So they just like that, you know. So
very cool.
Anyway, that's what I was working on this week.
One.
You're finished on the bottle stoppers.
It's lacquer. I use lacquer on them, right?
Nice.
Lacquer.
My
I used flat on the on this because I thought it would look better as a wooden beer barrel, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I put gloss on the coin.
Very nice.
Very
cool. So you put a quarter in it?
Say again?
Did you say you put a quarter in the top of them?
Yeah, these are quarters. These are state quarters. So they lived in 3 states. I did this for my sister first. She moved down to South Carolina, and then my brother visited her. This brother visited. I have 3 other brothers and 2 sisters. But anyway, so he and his wife had lived in 3 states, Oklahoma, and now they live in Colorado. So this one is Colorado, and this is maybe because that's where we grew up. I don't know if you can see it too well or not. Anyway, I just embedded in.
I asked you a question about that.
Looks really good.
So how many pieces glue together there? The balloon.
Well, I burned it on my lathe. And then so this is one maple. And so I see the.
Oh, I thought those were individual woods.
That's what I thought too.
No. And then I actually, for the basket, used a 3-point tool and I actually cut in. It looks like you can't really see it looks like a wick on the bottom of these balloons usually.
Yeah, pretty, very pretty.
Yeah, I like that one.
That's what his balloon looked like. Those are the colors of his balloon actually. So
cool.
Anyway,
you'll love that.
Yeah, I think you will. I think you'll like it.
Nice job.
That's all I
Nice
have.
work, Ron.
Thanks.
All
Thanks,
right,
Ron.
next up is Doug. Hey, Doug. Yes, you.
Hey, I was just typing a message. Good to see everybody tonight. I don't have anything fun. I have a practical piece this week. I dare say what it is. This is the only thing I've done. We were until late Monday night, and I did this yesterday on a demo. Had lots of fun. And Matt, I actually an inch deeper than what it was when you saw it last. But anyway, Morse taper 2 that I turned. It does have a small tenon on it. That's what I ended up grabbing at the very end. The black marks are where I was pounding to my recess, trying to get it to stay. When I was hauling it out, it didn't want to stay. So I ended up grabbing this little and got it finished the hollowing. It's ready to go and drilling for my
power cord.
Then my go into that. It'll replace the old one that has never been. It was not right to begin with. It was it ended up being too thin and it was cracky. This is a piece of oak. This will be for the rest of my life, I'm sure. So anyway, that's all I did this week. That's it.
Now, what's that
Very
again?
nice,
What's that
very
for?
nice.
What was that for again, Doug?
It's for my laser pecker.
Okay.
Boy.
Yeah,
Love it.
that
Love
was
it.
a good demo you did yesterday.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
That's I showed you how not to hold it.
Yeah, you were on trying to keep that thing in the lathe, kept popping
that
out.
And one of the things that was going on why I didn't have the tenon earlier. I was the pieces a inertia sander that fit me that I turn the handle for. So I had the time, and I knew as long as that thing kept falling out every few cuts, I would take up a little more time. So that's why I didn't. Anyhow, we got through the hour and had a good time. And this is a planed wood. This was a piece of a table leg, oak table leg. It's the very top. This started square and went to round, and then at the end, try to keep it in the paper. This is what I was pounding. This was the rest of the leg, or big. So I've got some big marks here pounding it. This was doing a lot of little micro-sized shop mallet. I mean, this is a tiny thing compared to. This worked well.
That's my favorite part when you kept pounding that in.
This thing worked good. It was pounding it in.
Yeah, it was. It was.
Got it in good and straight. That's me for this week.
Thanks very much, Doug.
Thanks, Doug.
I'm going to go to Tim Hatch.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Sorry about the dogs earlier. Friggin' didn't realize I was unmuted and that's how it was just going.
Yeah, just don't let it happen again, Tim.
Well, I got a couple things. I think 2 weeks ago we talked a little bit about colors. So pecan bowl.
Pull it back
on that, but unicorn spit was the color.
Move further. Tim? Can you move further away from the camera? Thank you.
There you go.
So unicorn spit is the color, blue, and then the gold rim there is actually the acrylic ink that I like using. So it's got to get sanded one more time. Then I start with a little bit of resin. This still has to be finished yet, but making a small vase or I don't know. The wife said pot. I don't know. Still working, but that is the Alumilite slow and clear. Stuff turns. There she goes again. Shut up. My wife's not here, so any noise outside is setting her off. But anyway, the Alumilite clear cast, that stuff turns like butter when it first comes out of pots. So I'm kind of in that. I don't normally like resin, but wasn't that terrible. And I had this really nasty salted pecan and a lot of bug holes, a lot of character to it. And this thing only weighed 65 ounces total, and it still hadn't been hollowed out or anything. So looking at it, I said, you know, got this. I was a couple of years ago and I bought that cactus. It's been sitting in my shop for how long? So I in the vacuum chamber with a gallon of cactus. Hey, I don't want to compete with you. Shut up. Anyway, it took a third of a gallon of cactus juice to stabilize this, and then about 3 hours cooking in the little mini oven I got in the shop.
That's a $30 stabilization you got there.
Oh, you tell me. And so that thing comes with cactus juice right now. I weighs 107 ounces.
Wow.
So it doubled this for sure, or pretty close.
Thirsty.
Then you're gonna
The final thing
throw
I got,
90% of it on the floor.
I'm sorry.
Then you're gonna throw 90% on the floor.
Actually, I'm gonna core that out. See if I can get another
Okay.
small bowl out of it. But it was so punky. It was just sawdust coming apart. So then the final thing I did was another piece of pecan. A lot of natural bug holes and that type of, and I turned a potpourri dish for the wife.
It's nice.
So, but anyway, that's what I got going on for, you know, on and off for next month or so. Trying with the troopies. So
Thank you, Tim. Nice work.
Thanks, Tim.
appreciate you. Got it. Bye.
Good stuff.
Okay, over to you, Dane.
All right. Well, look at that. Takes us right just top of the hour. So let's get our safety moment on. We missed this pretty fast. Where is Sue at? There she is.
I'm here.
There she is. How you doing, Sue?
I'm doing pretty good. Pretty good. First, I want to thank JJ for his moment. A lot of people don't watch very close when they're sharpening their tools and how to present themselves with the systems. So JJ, that was a great safety moment. Thank you for doing that for me. This week, I want to talk, and we all know what it is the stand to the side so you're not in the line of fire. Now, we're going to have a little bit of lead at Level Up when it comes to face masks, because we're all doing small objects, and the UVEX face masks are kind of, and they probably won't fit in the suitcase.
Right.
And some of us got the flat safety, but remember, you can bring your safety mask, wear it, but if you can't, make sure you have good safety glasses on. Now, you're going to be doing little pieces at Level Up. Come off the lathe, they shouldn't hurt you too much. So just be careful that if you can get a safety mask up there, do it. I went and I got a flat safety mask like Scott had mentioned.
Cry. Isn't that what it's called? No cry.
I
No
think
cry.
so.
No
No.
cry.
So, you know, it wasn't very expensive. And at least you won't have tears running down your face to fog up your lenses. So remember, you know, I'm always going to say use a safety mask in your room. I don't know what size project, and even a project it's 3 inches in diameter and 4 inches that comes spinning off the lathe really hurt the crown of your head. So I can't stress enough to wear your face mask, preferably with a shield here. But for little small stuff, we're gonna wear the flat mask because there is no hat on those. It's strictly really wonderful safety glasses and masks for the lower part of your face. So folks, just be aware that we know what we're for Level Up. We're trying to accommodate everybody that goes up there. But remember your safety concerns. While you're at home, your first line of defense, but your face mask is a line of defense. So please remember that when you're turning at home or in other factions. Wink, protect your head and your respiratory system and anything else attached to your head. Have a great turning week, and I'll see you here next week. Take care.
Very good, very good, Sue. Thank you. Yes, we will have a small, at a minimum, we will have safety glasses that we'll provide for folks that, and especially those that are flying that won't be able to bring their own. But again, safety is up to you on how you're going to take it. For the most part, we're on having that protection. A lot of people when they demo and whatnot, they don't wear the face shield because they're talking and they're in the microphone and whatnot. Kind of, for some of them it kind of impedes basic equipment, but highly recommend you get one set of eyes. It doesn't take much for a piece of wood or a piece of malleable metal to pop off, and it'd be a bad day for you. Just leave it at that. So with let's get on to our featuration tonight. So about 85 people on. Let's see what Mr. JJ's done for us. JJ, we got you. Thank you for inviting us into your shop and putting on a fantastic demo. I forgot to ask you what you were going to do this week, but I am going to mute everybody. You'll need to unmute yourself. Folks, JJ is going to turn this project the way JJ turns. You may want to do it. You may want to say to do it, but hold those comments to yourself. Discussion after the demo with JJ. JJ wants to solicit participation from the crowd. He will let us know. I'm going to mute everybody now, JJ.
Okay. Can you hear me?
And I got you.
Okay.
Got you. That's a good looking smock.
Yeah.
And a good looking hat. And a good
great badge on there to help protect me from things flying off the lathe. So, Sue, you're welcome for the safety. Hope it never happens again. I don't want to step up and do that for you again because it cost me some blood. But it was a lesson to share because it was completely unexpected and was completely preventable. And that's where we're at with, 99% of the things that happen to us are preventable if we think it through and if we look at our situation, where physically, where our hands are. It's all preventable to get through, but we can. I have a camera down. We've only got 2 cameras. So what I probably am going to do at some point, move this camera so that you get a view from the tailstock end of the lathe. So I'm going to apologize in advance for everybody who gets, but what we're going to do is we're going to do one of my, that's the wrong camera. We're going to do one of my hideaway vases. So I've got a piece of spalted, I believe this is box elder. It's very light. Might have to fall back to a second piece once we start turning this. But we're going to start with this, and it's about 8 long, I believe, and 4x4. That's a good size for this project. You don't want a big, heavy, deep project necessarily. 8 by 4x4. So this is a good size, and again, for a block of this size, this is very light, so it might be a little beyond funky. And I have another piece standing by that is also spalted, but might not be as. So we'll get this one.
Hey,
Face
JJ,
shield on, of course.
JJ, any chance you can turn your mic?
Yeah. Is it louder over here?
No, you're
Okay.
kind of quiet.
Okay. How's that? Is that better?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay. Just had to turn the gain up on my receiver. And just knock the corners off of this real quick. Doesn't have to be perfectly round, but you definitely want to get the square corners off. And I plucked some bark out. Have a little inclusion there, which is why this is in. This is going to be the top. But I could turn away if there was any heavy inclusion. And actually, this hold together, we might get a nice piece out of it. That's almost round. I'm going to take this side down a little bit more. I still have, but that's not really a big deal right this second. I'm more interested in making sure this is balanced. At finishing the shape off after we do it, makes this a hideaway vase. So we're running on this end. You can see that's good. And again, I'm working off missing my third camera, so bear with me.
Fine.
It's an excuse to upgrade.
Take your time, JJ. Take your time.
All right, so on the top, this is going to be our vase. Make sure we get a nice clean. And it looks like I'm rushing again, but this is really soft. It's like butter. It's
okay.
Probably a good thing I got it on the load. Alrighty. Yeah, this is cutting incredibly easily. Also, the mosquitoes are out, so you might see me dancing and jumping and slapping. Okay, got a tenant. That is punk. That is punky. So I want we don't have demoitis. Going to soak that with some Parfix, and we're going to cut it a little bit deeper and knock down the top that's really shredded. So nice thing about Parfix 3408 is it's thin. It will soak in there immediately. Down around the rim, you guys don't that angle, but I've got it down around the rim too. Last quarter in and into the tin is soak fix. We'll hit it on 40. And just stabilize that little tenon area. We're going to make one more and get down into that stabilized part and then knock this shoulder down a tiny bit. Okay. So right for a moment, this is primarily a matter of taking the steps necessary to get the result you're looking for. And the result is a thin, long-necked vase with a fat section that is actually and has a threaded insert in so that you can use it, say, as a cairn or small keepsake. It's not in this proportion, be big enough for, say, a dog over 20 pounds or so, but it would be appropriate for that, or just a stash spot, or, there's every month in there for vacation that you're saving up for, and know that that's your hideaway spot. It just looks like a cool little vase. Okay. Our Chuck. Did we overshoot on the tenon? No, we are exactly right on the tenon. I promise. We'll be fine. That'll hold. So we're going to come in now with a 1 1/8 inch Forstner bit. And that is an arbitrary size. It's up to you what size. That just seems to be what works for me in the doing this process. And a couple of things, and this is where the golden ratio comes in. So with this skinny base, we want it to have some proportion to it. And the golden ratio 1 to 1.68, and there's more numbers, but it's roughly 1 to 1.68. So we want to think about a really fat, big base and a short neck, a shorter and a longer neck. And I think for this one, a shape just came into my head, and I think that I want to make a piece with a longer neck. So those proportions, this is our 1, and the neck's going to be 1.8. So that is going to be the wide spot or the apex of my body. Now that's important because I've got to drill somewhere in this area, but not go past it. So I want to mark that line and keep in mind that this is the latest point of my vase. And also where I really need to stopping, especially if I decide to hollow it. Now this short, if I'm going to sell this as
I need to do some hollowing. We're not going to do that tonight, but you definitely would want to come in and you think you're 1 1/8 wide at the bottom, but when you go inside, you're going to want to kind of make an inverted cone and some area in here and just give it a little bit more size if you're marketing it as a keepsake urn. Do that tonight. We're going to just consider this as a hideaway. It's going to have, you could put a roll of bills 3 inches depth, and if we look at our bit, that drill 2 1/4 inches. I probably should have put that into a Forstner extender, but we'll be happy with 2 1/4 inches for demo purposes. So the first thing you want to do is get a tenon on the top, mount it, and drill it in from the bottom. We'll do that real quickly, and this is going to go really fast because this stuff is soft. It's kicked it up to 600 RPM. You don't want to drill any faster than 600. And your Forstner bit should say on it, speed up to 600 RPM. There's 2 reasons to choose 1 1/8 inches. One is it's a decent size to hollow. It gives you room to move your tools around, but it's not too big. The other is the way to hold this to turn the rest of the vase once we get the bottom shape of the bottom finished is with a jam. And I have a 1/8 inch jam already made. These at 1 inch, I know that every single time I make one, I use the same jam. So standardizing that means that I can crank out 5 of these in a day rather than trying to cut a new jam chuck every time I make one. So right there is now hollowed, and we're ready to work on the shape of our vase. You want to turn your neck down before you drill, and before you hollow, you want as much bulk down here as possible so that you're not creating so much torque that it'll snap the neck. If I make this, especially when it's as thin as punky, if I make this too thin, I'll break it while I'm hollowing. So another reason to get into a cylindrical or as close to cylindrical, and then worry about shape. If you can't handle your Forstner bit when drilling, if you can't hold it, move it and take it out and stuff, too fast, slow down.
Good advice.
It is, but it is not burning. All right, we'll get that out of there. Also, Matthias did this, and this is brilliant. This is absolutely the coolest thing. One of the coolest things I picked up at a demo, and he didn't even say anything about it, but make sure you never lose your chuck. This was the coolest thing I've ever seen, and I've done it ever since Matthias's demo. This was great.
Your daddy didn't teach you that with your drill?
Nope.
Skill drill back when you was a kid?
Nope. Well, when I was growing up, that rubber thong that wrapped around the power cord, and your drill chuck was in that thong, and so it stayed in the right up until you lost the whole thing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But then there was a drawer in the toolbox that had like 13 different chucks. So, but I thought that was a tip that Matthias didn't even describe. All right, so you see, I don't know if you can see or not, but this, yeah, you can see it's not quite even. We're round. So we're going to go ahead and finish shaping our bottom and start to get our neck into shape. We're not going to worry too much about that yet, but we do need to finish shaping the bottom. So face shield back. and make sure that we have a nice flat. This is super soft, verging on ultra punky. This is a really, really soft piece of wood. We're lucky that it's working out. Using that slicing technique. We're close, and that'll just before we reverse it. Yeah, getting good clean cuts. So even though it's right on the edge of punky, it's cutting really nicely. Okay, so my head, we're going to go to that shape. This is arbitrary. Shape it how you want. Remembering that you drill to a certain depth, and it's going to be at base. And you shape the neck of that base. The top of, especially if you go from the bottom and actually do some hollowing.
Hey, JJ,
Yes.
can you explain the profile you got ground on that spindle gouge?
Okay, this is a Mark's leg file.
Yes, I know. Others don't.
That is call it curve, and then you start from away and just start take. And this one's got a little bit of a steeper angle because of the way I've been using it. But you're just going to take that shoulder down until you come to a very, very nice sharp edge. And this allows you to slice the wood. And so this one is a fairly shallow. That one's steeper. You see how that's a sharper corner there? And that allows you to get down in there and come from the inside out when you're hollowing and keep bevel contact deep. And then this one is even steeper. But you're still running that little corner off and coming back almost an inch. But that edge lets you get down into the bottom of the piece and come from the inside out and keep bevel contact at the bottom.
Almost turns your spindle gouge into a skew.
Yeah, yeah. And you really can make skew-like cuts with your spindle gouge. You can do it's incredibly versatile. As you're cutting, you're actually going to swing the gouge and keep that bevel directly along the line of your cut. So you'll see I'm actually shifting. Well, you can't see it. I don't have a way to show it to you. But I'm making sure that the gouge with what I'm cutting. So I'm not coming in like this and gouging. I'm coming alongside, parallel to my lines, and I'm slicing. And I can change the angle and the shape by simply rolling that edge in the direction I want it to go. And that winds around. And that gives me a nice, smooth, clean. That's
Yeah,
a
it looks
flat.
good.
That's smooth and clean. So we're almost down to round, and the shape is just about where I want it, almost where I want it. Here we go. I want to. What's the base just a hair tighter? Just roll that a bit more. There we go. That's just a shape that I'm feeling tonight. Or almost perfectly round. And I'm starting to roll back. Yeah, okay, I still have a little bit of saw curve right here. So we're gonna have to go in both directions in order to bring our shape down a little bit thinner and get rid of that little bit of saw mark. I'm just gonna follow the same shape, but remove the thinnest amount of wood. And we're gonna come back, please. We wanna come in a little bit, start turning the corner towards what the neck's gonna look like. And we got rid of the flat spot. And I really like where that's going. Ugh, I still have a tiny little bit of that saw curve. The tiniest amount. All right, now we drilled about 2¼ inches in. So we are in no risk when we turn this corner of cutting into our hollow. And this piece, if I wasn't demoing, I would probably do some hollowing and just make it a little bit wider in here. I think that would, this piece would look good with, would look good. It would function well with that, but that's not the point of what we're demonstrating. So just if you're doing this and you want a shape similar to this, think about getting this a little bit hollow, a little wider up here, but keep your 1 1/8 inch or whatever arbitrary, it's arbitrary, whatever size you want, keep that size at least the bottom 1/2 inch. That will become necessary. All right. We can work on the neck now a little bit. I'm just switching to my barrel guides because I can remove that quickly. I'm still roughing at this stage. But that's the end of it. All right, now we're going to go back to our gauge for a moment.
And yet we're about right where we need to be. My apex is a little bit lower, but we can fudge a little bit. We're in the neighborhood. That's still going to look pretty decent. Your bowl gouge is sharp. You can make finishing cuts with it. Might be a big honking 5/8" bowl gouge. But it's sharp enough that it almost took my finger off. And I am not going to go down to full thinness. I'm going to keep some back. Because there's one cut left that I need to make on the base. So I just want to get my basic shape. Make sure I see where I'm going, and I want that to be a little bit steeper. When it gets skinny faster.
Y'all see how he's writing the bevel?
Yeah, what I'm doing is I'm cut up and I'm opening that bevel and I'm letting this little part of the blade right here is razor sharp, and that is slicing my grain. And
No tear out. Cut.
There it goes.
There's no tear out.
Right.
That is nice and clean. There's a little tiny bit of cleanup work I can do, but let me show you. With the same gouge, 5/8" bowl gouge. It's a big honking gouge. I pick up that cut. I open the flute just a little bit. You can see where the woods, where the little shavings are coming right here.
Yep.
Okay, and I'm taking the finest of cuts. I'm letting the gouge move through the wood. Let me change that. I'm letting the wood move down through the gouge. I'm not shoving the gouge into the wood. I'm feeding the gouge through the wood. And that feels just glassy. That just feels amazing. I got a couple little tool wobbles there. Again, take your time. Pick up your cut. Open the flute. Don't look at where the gouge is intercepting the wood. Look over here at the cut you're making, and you can see if there's changes that need to be made, if there's tool marks and little scratches that you need to pick up. And you can even make a finishing cut for this little section. Come back with your 3/8" spindle gouge. Take your time. Make a finishing cut.
Good job, JJ.
That is that. A glassy smooth cut. That's nice with wood that is verging on punky like this. That should be impossible, except Mark taught us how to do it. It's possible. All right. So I have my primary shape of my body. I hope you can hear me over the compressor. I have the primary shape of my body, the bulk of my body. I can't hear you with the compressor going, Dane. I'm sorry. I have the bulk of my body. I've got essentially the shape I want. I may change that and make it a little bit steeper. We'll see how I feel once we get it reversed. I've got one more cut to make right here, and that's that little tiny ridge right there, there's just you can just see this little ridge. I've got to take that little ridge down. And I'm actually going to come from the inside out to take that down. So I'm going to basically make a pull cut with my spindle gouge. Very light. And I want to do that because if I cut in, it'll just shatter inside. So I just want to smooth that. And then do I want to see, I want a tiny bit of an undercut here. We'll just take a little bit down and just cup that bottom a little bit. And then we're going to do the same thing. Bring that edge down. Just like that. That's pretty good. That way it sits flat. Again, I would sand from here down. But that's not the point of this demonstration. So we won't do it tonight.
JJ, did
Now,
you just cut your tenon off?
I'm sorry? There's no tenon.
Oh.
There's
He
no
had it in
tenon.
the cone. He had it in the
Yeah.
cone.
I had it in the cone. Yeah, there's no tenon. Hang on, I'm sorry, I didn't back you guys out. I apologize. There never was a tenon on the bottom. I've always intended, that's why I drill them all at 1 1/8 inch, because I have a jam.
I missed it when I was getting food.
Ah, feeding your face, Billy. So that's a 1 1/8 inch. Oh, and it's too tall. So we'll knock the end of it down real quick. We'll just come in with a beating parting tool and lop the end of that off. Hopefully that should be fine. Here we go. We are jammed. That should hold because this wood is so soft. Now, at this point, there's a couple of things that one being get rid of the tenon that I had here. That tenon is now in the way.
JJ?
Yes.
Your mic is cutting out every 10 words. We lose a couple words and then you come back on.
Okay. Shoot. That's the only mic unit I have. This is the only mic unit I have charged. I'll try to slow down. I'll try to slow down. So one thing I need to do is take this tenon out of here. This tenon was not part of my measurement. This is waste. So I'm going to come in with a 60-degree live center. I've got my center already established, and I'm just going to take that down. Can you hear that? Hear what I'm doing?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So my measurement with the golden mean tool, with my one being right about here, was to this edge. So everything up here is extraneous. We need to get rid of that. And that will maintain my proportions. And I'm going to go ahead and start shaping that a little bit. Because it's going to go down into the neck.
We will slow the load down before we take off that little nubbity nub, because that might slip a little. And that's not going to be a big deal. Yes.
How fast we got the speed question. How fast you turning?
Okay. Turning at on my middle speed band on my Laguna 1216. So at maxed out is 1800 RPM. I should be on the high speed band, but I'm switching between drilling and turning. And if I'm on the high speed band, I'm going to lose the ability to drill, and it's going to take me time to change between speeds.
Right.
So if I wasn't demonstrating, I would be turning most of this in the high speed band, and I'd be running about 2200 RPM. So because it helps make sure that you get better cuts. So the happy medium is to stay in the middle band so that I can switch between drilling and turning and not have to stop and change bands all the time. That being said, I'm not going to tell you what speed to turn this at, except when you're drilling. You need to be 600 RPM or below. The speed that you feel.
We're losing you on the mic again.
I'm sorry?
We're losing you on the mic again.
I'm trying to say, turn at the speed that you feel safe and comfortable at. I'm not giving you a speed recommendation. These are the speeds I'm using because I'm demonstrating. You turn at where you feel safe and comfortable and answer it with your level of experience.
Correct. Good answer.
And I will always say, this is what I'm turning at, but I'm not telling you to turn at that. You turn where you feel safe. All right. Going to keep the 60-degree life center in, but we're going to take the life center out and go back to, and we're not going back to the Jacobs chuck. We're going to use a Mark Soleil trick. And there's a very specific reason that you will see in just a moment why we're going to do this way. Well, what I have is a 1 in 8 TPI Morse taper. And I'm going to put this
in your life center.
In the tailstock. I'm sorry?
Yep, you're going to put that in the tailstock, and then you're going to drill through the headstock. That's what I do too.
I'm going to put that in a tailstock. And then I'm going to take my Talon with the #1 step jaws on it.
You're the first one that I've seen do this, JJ, outside of myself.
Mark Soleil taught me.
Very good. Very
This
good.
is one of the things that I learned when I went and visited Mark. Now, this essentially turns your lathe into a drill press. And what I've discovered, which I'm sure Mark will tell you too, is that you're going to drill straighter holes with your drill spinning rather than your piece spinning. And it works. And I don't know if it's physics or what, but it ends up working safer and easier. And it's safe. Now, one thing we need to remember, depending on what your shape is, see if I can get this in close enough. Depending on what your shape is here, one thing you need to remember is that if you're using this as a hideaway, and especially if you're going to sell this as an urn, you do not want this hole that you're about to drill in the neck to go all the way through. So you need to remember where you drilled to, which was 2 1/4 inches. Okay, right about there, which means that the maximum that I can drill and ensure that I've got solid is probably right to this line, which is 5 inches. And I have just about 4 inches of 3/8 inch drill bit here. So all I need to do is bottom this out, and I've got a nice long neck that you can stick twigs or something in, make it a little stick vase. And it looks like a vase, and people think, oh, and so it makes it more of the illusion that it's a vase. But what you're really got going on is that you are disguising your hideaway in the bottom. So drilling about 600 RPM. And this is just a bad zone of my
of my lock. Hang on a second. Now, if you do this right, you can just slide your tailstock up, back it out, slide it up, back it out. And this doesn't work as easy on harder woods. This stuff is really soft. If this was a piece of cherry, we would not be drilling this like this. We would be using the handle on the tailstock. Got a little bit of. Nah, we're doing pretty good. It also works a lot smoother on a bigger lathe, like a Powermatic with that big heavy tailstock. This is a pretty smooth operation with that big heavy lathe. All right, that's all we need to do. That was all we need to do. And again, if you can't handle your drill bit when you're done drilling, you drill too fast. Slow down. This is a handy little tool. Got mine from Bestwood Tools, and I'll tell you what, I break that thing out 3 or 4 times a week easily. It is a handy little dude. All right, I've got my hole. I've got the shape essentially of the neck. For the most part, I can come in if I want to from the end and do a little bit more on there. I don't think I really need to because of the way that I'm going to shape the rest of this neck. So we are going to finish the neck of our vase. Excuse me. All right, so we got a little bit. That's okay. Take about 30 seconds to unravel it. Or lessen the wobble. And here's something that I do. That's a duck's chuck with a 1/8, and put the duck's chuck in and move your neck to one side if you want. There's a lot of options here. This is going to be a little bit off balance. We'll fix that real quick. To change this neck a little anyway. So we'll get that. That's a friendlier shape. And I can even come back and change this and mess with this, but the shape of the vase is not necessarily what the demo about. It's what we're going to do here in just a moment.
I would start thinking about our little top of our vase here. Remembering that we drilled that at 3/8 of an inch, and this is very, very soft wood, so I don't want to get it too skinny. I bumped my speed knob. All right, that's pretty good. Yeah, okay, okay. We got that nice tall. So won't take very long. This will finish with a coat of Pelfix 3408 and then with Vonex and a little Vonex on top of that, and it'll be really, really pretty. We got some nice spalt in there. And just so you know, if you just so you know, if are frustrated with all these black lines, according to Mark, all you got to do is put a little wood bleach on there. I'll take care of all those black lines for you. So, Matt, you're asking about why I'm not putting a hand on the tool rest. Yeah, it's not.
All right,
Losing
your mic is just cut out completely. I'm missing the explanation.
Hang on. Come on, you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So what I'm
Yeah, it keeps cutting out, JJ.
okay. Is that better? My hand is actually on the tool rest, so I'm picking up the cut, and the heel of my hand is right here, writing on the tool. But
what I was seeing is like every other cut, your hand was not in contact with the tool rest at all, a good inch or two away from it.
Okay. Well,
so
what I'm doing is locking. I'm locking the triangle here.
I was concerned about that.
What I'm doing is locking the triangle and stabilizing this with my body. Okay. So what I'm
doing
is
out of camera range.
Yeah,
the ridge back was just out of camera range. That's all.
Yeah, but what I'm doing is locking this against my body, so it's basically the same way you'd hold a rifle, where your elbows are in and you're creating a tripod. I'm doing the exact same thing. I'm locking against my body. I'm resting in tool rest, and is in contact. It may not look like it, but I'm in contact with the tool rest the whole time.
No, I can see that. That's very clear. But there was several points there where you were a good inch or two away from the tool rest with your hand, and that's what I was concerned about. So
well,
Because what my, the tool rest is there to keep the tool, down. Okay?
Yep.
Is to keep the
Yep,
tool
I
down.
got it.
But the stability is primarily from my body. The way I'm making this cut, here, let's do a cut. The way I'm making this cut, the stability is the triangle that I'm forming with my body. So I pick this up and I know I'm anchored. All the stability of this cut is coming from my body. So I don't necessarily have to be, as long as that tool is in contact with the tool rest. The whole purpose of your left hand when you're holding a tool, the whole purpose of your down on the tool rest. That's why your left hand's there. It is not to turn, it is not to push, it is the entire purpose of your left hand when you're making a cut is to keep your tool on the tool rest. And let me show you what I mean. I have direct pressure straight down on the tool rest, and my body is what is moving the tool as it feeds, as the wood feeds through the cut. All my left hand needs to do is ensure I have downward pressure. That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
I buy it. Thanks for clearing
Okay.
that up, JJ.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's a tool rest. Roger, the angry wood turner says it best. It is a tool rest, not a hand rest. Now, you absolutely can use it to do things like lock in depth of a cut. I want to make sure this neck is super straight. I'm going to lock right here. My knuckle's going to keep that tool from going further. You can use it as a way with an interaction of your hand. But the whole purpose of your left hand should be only downward pressure and stability of the tool.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And look, when I'm turning a bowl and I am way over the tool rest, camera to move back, and I'm tool rest, I'm worried about my body. Here, let's do it this way. I'm worried about my body triangle and keeping this motion, my left to right. I'm worried about this. I'm not worried about where my hand is, and do I have a tight lock here? I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about making sure that I'm able to move in a slow, smooth, stable, controlled fashion. This can get in my way. So anyway, so at this point, the vase is done. I will probably put it back in between centers tomorrow and mess with it so that I can make this a finished product. But you're going to sand, you're going to do your finish, you're going to do whatever. The body of the vase is done. How do we make it a hideaway? That's what we're trying to get to. So we have our basic vase, and we're going to go right back to centers. So we'll get rid of our jam here. We're going to start over with a block of, in this case, Osage orange. So we'll get my handy dandy Dux center finder. The Duxbury center finder is a fantastic little tool.
Yes, it is.
And now this Osage orange is hard as stone. Let's see if we can keep that locked in enough to get it round and put a tenon on it.
Now I choose Osage orange because of all the woods that I can do a threaded insert with. This is probably one of the least expensive. And it takes threads really, really well. Yeah, see here with the bowl gouge, I'm not right up on here. I'm more worried about my triangle, my body triangle. And providing consistent stability throughout the cut. All right. Put a tenon on that end. Do it. Now, there's a couple of ways that we can do this. One of the things that I could have done was in the bottom here. I could have cut a little bit, just a quarter of an inch, say. I could have cut a little bit of a recess or a relief. 6 1/2 dozen of the other. You can do that whatever way you want. We're going to go straight to 1 1/8 and make it a fit tonight just for time's sake, but that's an option. It's entirely up to you.
You got time?
Yeah, but I've already taken the tenon off. So once I take tenon off at the neck, I can't do anything to the bottom of that piece. That was a decision I should have made 6 steps ago.
Okay. I see.
I made that decision before I started the demonstration. All right, I cut that tenon too small. But you know what? We're right in the right range. We could cheat.
Just open it up a little bit.
We're right in the right size range. We can just cheat. Get a little pressure so to make sure that that's seated on the shoulders, which you're not supposed to bottom out. But we're right
center.
Yep, and that's why you always keep your centers. Start between centers. You can always make sure you're where you need to be. All right. So I drilled this at an inch and an eighth. I drilled this at an inch and an eighth, so I'm going to make sure that I've set, and I'm at an inch and an eighth. A tiny bit over because wood moves. So that's my inside diameter right here, and I'm going to turn this down to that diameter. And this is a trick that I've developed with this, with fitting this, is I'm going to turn this down to that diameter, and I'm going to fit it from the inside out. And you'll see what that means in just a few minutes. So first I'm going to do is make sure I've got a nice flat surface here. Rest is too high. Now I'm going to slow the lathe down. I'm going to set my caliper on the tool rest, and I'm only going to touch this edge. And I'm going to give myself a ballpark. And that should be an inch and an eighth, and we're going to sneak up on that. We come in with a beating and parting tool. You can bring the tailstock up if you desire. It's not absolutely necessary. Okay, we're going to talk about threads real quick. Currently have a 1 in 12 or a 12 TPI threader head. 12 threads per inch mean that I get 3 full threads per quarter inch. So I want to make sure that this little neck that's going to go inside my insert is at least 1/4 of an inch. And I'm just over, I'm at 3/8, a little over 3/8, almost 5 or the next little size up, whatever the 16th is up. I'm having trouble mathing right now. 7/16, almost 7/16. The reason for that is I need to have 3 full threads through. This is going to end up being my female. I need to have 3 full threads through. 3 full threads is what the machinists consider a good solid seat. You want 3 full threads, and that should hold pretty much anything, according to my machinist buddies. So I needed at least 1/4 of an inch. We're a little over 1/4 of an inch. So now I can focus on getting it down to the right diameter. Now we want to make sure that we have nice parallel sides. So there's a couple ways we can do that. One is sight down the side of your tenon at the bedway of your lathe, which I can't do with my face shield on because it hits my light and my camera. But I can sight down here and look and make sure that those are parallel. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is use a tool that you know has perfectly parallel sides. I'm aiming for, again, this diameter. So I'll set the tool at that diameter again. It's just a tiny bit out of 1 1/8. And I will lay my caliper flat on there. And if I cannot see light, I know my sides are parallel. This should be cut perfectly parallel, and you should take care of your calipers and know that you can trust that that's parallel. So as long as you're not chewing up your calipers, you should be able to make sure, just by laying the calipers on there, that you have parallel sides. You'll see light, or they'll tip up or down, and it's, if you try it, you'll figure out real quick how you can confirm that you have parallel sides using your caliper. Get you a little bit better focus there. All right, we're almost to our diameter. We're going to use this 1/4 inch beading and parting tool like a 1/4 inch miniature skew. We are not quite at our diameter, but we want to confirm parallel sides again. So I know I'm a little big, and what I'm looking is to see if I see any light, and I don't. And I can actually set the little ends of the teeth and see where the groove is and know that my mark is just about dead on. So if I take it down to that mark, I should be the right diameter. Now at this point, we're going to start trying to fit this like we're putting a lid on a box. So we're going to come up and go, nope, it's too big. And I can see that I actually changed the angle, and I actually have an angle. So I'm going to bring this edge down and try to fit it again. Again, using that 1/4 inch parting tool, like a 1/4 inch skew,
We're very close to a fit. Close. Now we do want a tight snug fit, but we also want to make sure that there's enough room that we can glue in there and not just push it out. So it's a kind of a finicky thing. We also have a wild variation in densities between the Osage orange and this this maple. We're
Just so tight.
Yeah, it's too tight. We're going to take just a hair more off. Just a hair more. That is probably going to do it.
Yep.
Right there.
You don't want to crush the fibers on your hole.
Yeah, exactly. That's still too tight. That's still too tight. We're going to take a tiny bit more off. It's a little tight at the shoulder there. We're just going to take a hair more off. Again, I need glue to be able to be in there and get into the grain on both sides.
Yeah, that ought to do it.
That should do it.
And leaves plenty of room for the glue to bond.
Yeah, there we go. So that's going to seat. And now, remember, we're doing this from the inside out, meaning this is what's going to go inside this is what's going to be outside. That's why I need to make sure that my sides are parallel, because this is actually going to be the face that's facing up when we insert it in here. So I need to make sure that it's parallel, and then I can have a clean face once I drill this, and then I part it off, and it doesn't matter what this end looks like because that's going to be inside, and you're never going to see it again once you glue it in. So we're turning this inside. And that being said, we need the Forstner bit again. 1 1/8 is the size that I made my hole. 1 1/8 is the size that I made my tenon to fit in the hole. And I want to drill that so that I can put a threaded insert in to close it. So I can go as big as 1 inch. And with the cutting head I have, I can go as small as 3/4, and that's what we're going to do. If I can remember where I put my 3/4 inch Forstner bit. I must not have
Inside your
grabbed it.
1 inch.
Yeah, it's exactly. I tried to set everything that I was going to use for the demo aside so I didn't have to come over here and dig for it, but apparently I forgot that one. Oh, where'd you go?
Well played. Well played.
Where did you go? Oh, there it is. It's in my pile of these are the Forstner bits I'm using daily. Wasn't even in the right place because it was in the place where I could reach it quickly. Okay,
I was
3/4
just
inch.
saying, it's over there.
Yeah, thanks,
Right.
Billy. Okay, now.
You got the right size, right?
Yeah, 3/4 inch. What am I going to tell you about this? With the 3/4 inch cutter head, 3/4 inch is the smallest that I can go in order to cut threads in it because otherwise the cutter head will jam if I go any smaller. And what I need to do is remember this is going to be an insert. This is going to be the outside edge. Inside edge isn't necessarily going to be, it doesn't really matter what it looks like, but I need to drill past this depth so that when I cut my threads, I have a little relief in the bottom of the threads so that the cutter has a place to clear. I need to make sure that I'm going to keep my 3 threads and have that clearance inside here. So a lot of this, there's about a 1/4 of an inch of waste ultimately right here. So I need to drill past that. So I'm looking at drilling that's right at a 1/2 inch, 3/4, probably 3/4 of an inch, which I think is, yeah, I have a mark right here on my Forstner bit. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a pencil mark right there at about 3/4 of an inch. That's going to get this deep enough that I can cut threads cleanly. Osage orange is far and away denser than the piece of maple that I'm using, so I definitely want to take my time and drill a little bit slower. I'm at about 500 RPM. I want to take my time. I do not want to create heat. And I didn't tighten that down enough. That just popped loose. That was kind of odd. That made a popping sound when it came loose. Did I break my bit? No. That was weird. I thought that was tighter. That was odd. All right, we're good. I usually have this bit on a Forstner extender. I lost my line. There it is. My line moved over here. All right, we're about a little tiny bit past 3/4 of an inch deep. Again, if you cannot handle your Forstner bit when you're done drilling, you're drilling too fast. Slow down. You're burning your bits up. And here's where I wish I had that second camera, the third camera working. Oh, I'll do my best to describe what's happening. I made myself a tool. That I put somewhere. There it is.
It's over there.
It's over there. Thanks, Billy. All right. You see that little, got a little edge right there.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay. This is for down at the bottom. You've got to cut a recess so that the thread cutter has a place to escape. That's all this does. It's just a Stanley screwdriver. It works. I did not use my grinding wheel. I used my belt, my Sorby Pro Edge. So I didn't gum up my CBN wheel. And this tool is a little bit grabby. So if you make sure that your tool rest is a tiny bit higher than center and you tilt it down, that should cut that recess that quick. And I'm going to bring it up about half the width of the tool. A tiny bit more. There we go. Okay, and what I've just done is at the very bottom of where I'm going to cut threads, inside there, here's my mortise. What I just did was basically made a notch at the bottom of the mortise, so when the cutter head comes through, it comes clear and it doesn't jam up, because if it jams up, it's going to tear the threads. So if it comes clear of that, then you're going to have clean threads all the way down. That's important because these threads are actually going to go all the way through when it's mounted into the finished piece. The next thing I need to do, and that's all that tool's for, and that's the only time I use it in the entire project. But It's essential.
What kind of screwdriver are you using there? Is that a Craftsman?
That was a Stanley.
Okay, Stanley.
Yep. It was just a Stanley. It was just a $2 Stanley screwdriver. All right. Next thing I need is a chamfer right here. And that's going to allow the threads to enter cleanly. And now we get to alter our lathe. Normally I have a Threadmaster set up on a Jet 1215, but I don't have enough cameras to have a camera over there. So we're going to have to do it this way. First thing we're going to do is install the cutter head. That is a 3/4 inch cutter head. It's carbide, and that goes in a collet. Now you must seat that collet with a drawbar.
Cutter head almost looks like a spiral head.
I'm not familiar with a spiral head.
Embellishing, sorbet spiral.
Yeah, okay, I got you. All right, when you want to tighten that down, you do not want to over tighten it. You want about 1.5 turns. So you want to crank it down about 1.5 turns. You want to make sure that that collet is pinching your cutter head tight. But if you over tighten it, you have a tendency not to be able to get it off of the lathe again, which is bad. So don't do that. Make sure your lathe is turned all the way down, or even unplug it while you're working with this collet. If you bump the power switch and bump this, it will take flesh right off of you. Be very, very respectful of that sharp collet or that sharp cutter, because it will hurt you. All right. We just install our Threadmaster onto the bedway. Put our chuck right here. Now this is while I'm learning to hand cut, make thread projects, while I'm developing the skill to hand chase threads, which I just am not. So this is a solution that allows me production, allows me to reproduce, to make multiples fairly quickly and accurately. It's not the only way to make threads, but for me at this point in time, when I don't know how to chase them, it's the best way for me. Now remember, we drilled that at 3/4 inch, and that's a 3/4 inch cutter head. So this is all adjusted for the other lathe. I need to get this up here, and I need to center that cutter in the hole that I just drilled. So I'm going to advance that and make sure that that cutter fits. It should scrape the edges of the hole. And you bikes, see if you can hear that. You hear the scrape? You probably didn't. No. So you just want it to scrape the edges of the hole. That means it's centered. You can see that it's centered if you look in. Then this is something I learned from Mark Soleil. I'm cutting 12 threads per inch, 12 TPI. And 12 threads per inch are 46 thousandths of an inch deep. So I could just take this up to 46 thousandths and go to town. But if I want to make sure I have clean threads and I want to make sure I don't have any torn threads, I'm going to break that down into 3 passes, 20,000, 40,000, and then add the final 6. And that should give me clean threads. So we're just going to very carefully advance our cutter. You can see shavings coming out. I can actually hear it cutting. And this is a little brake screw right here that helps prevent that from grabbing and spinning the workpiece. So it gives you some drag.
For your depth of cut, what are you watching? The threads being emitted by the chuck and the thread adapter?
Yeah, so this right here is 12 threads per inch.
Right.
So I'm cutting this female in there. So what I'm watching is just to make sure that I see when I clear the bottom, but I don't really need to watch this. I'll feel it when it passes clear. It's just habit to look.
Okay.
I'm more
Hey,
concerned about taking my time and making 3 clean passes and not letting something like that happen, whatever that just was. So we'll stop the lathe and we'll back this out because that was something new. And hang on a second. Here's a cool little feature. This is a key lock or bed blade lock. Put this in here, tighten it down. Again, everything's adjusted for the other lathe. Now, when I back this off to investigate and see what just happened, I think I know what happened. I think I didn't tighten that down enough. When I back this away to check, look at what's going on in here. That is really odd. We might have to cut that end off and re-drill. Let me see. Okay, my lathe is all the way down. My speed is all the way down. Oh, that's held pretty tight. I wonder why that happened. That's really interesting. I've never had that happen before. All right, what this is I'm going to have to cut this off and re-drill. But what this is I go back here, lock it back down, start cutting again. I'm cutting from the exact same spot. The only adjustment I have to make is the depth of my cut. But something caught in there, and I'm wondering if there's...
Lacy. Hey, JJ, how fast are you turning while you're cutting those threads?
Fast. I'm spinning that cutter at 1800 RPM. And depending on the wood, I was burning. What was I threading? I can't. Oh, maple. I was burning maple the other day. I needed to slow it down, because I was running at about 3200 RPM and it was burning the maple. But you definitely want to be above 1500 RPM to let that cutter actually cut and do its work. All right, we have to fix this. That caught up in there. I can't, hang on a second. Windows, I dislike you greatly. You can see there's chewed up. That caught in there and chewed something up. I have no idea why that happened, but we gotta re-drill that. We gotta just take this off and re-drill it, which will only take a second if I can find my mallet.
Did you bottom out?
No, that's just it. I'm way above the bottom. I'm not sure why that happened, but that's what that looks like. That's what bottoming out would do. That's why you cut that relief of the neck. So I'm not sure why that happened. No, we'll do it again, slow down and pay attention and make sure it doesn't happen again. All right, get your collet out of the way. We're gonna have to take stock back on so that we can re-drill. But that's how quick it is to change out. It's really not that big a deal to have to change it on and off the lathe if you have something weird happen. And I'm demoing,
do you
that's
think?
why it happened.
Yeah, it's demoitis. What do you think
Yeah.
happened?
So the I think is I didn't tighten down the collet enough, and the cutter slipped is the only thing I can think happened because
Oh,
nothing should have moved. Nothing else is
right,
going on. So the only thing I can
right.
think is I didn't tighten the collet quite enough. But this is a quick, easy fix. Now I can take this off, but it's not really in the way. I cut that recess in the bottom, so I've actually got to go past that. Go.
JJ, couldn't you have used that old shoulder to extend for the new one before you cut
No,
it
because
off?
I cut the recess in the bottom, so that would leave that recess at the top of my threads, which would negate my depth.
That's not what I meant.
What are you asking?
If you could have just used the existing diameter to
Oh,
go.
yeah, I could have done that. Yes, but I still have this set,
Yeah,
so
I was just thinking it could have been faster, maybe. Ha!
yeah, I probably could have. You're not wrong. You're not wrong because we do have to fit that again real quick, but I'll try to be quicker about it. Again, using the clip.
Patrick said three-quarter inch cutter in a 3/4 inch hole has no room for error.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Again, using that 1/4 inch feeding and parting tool as a 1/4 inch skew chisel. Looks like my sides are pretty parallel. Whoops. We're good. Nice. Just about there. Ha ha ha. Clean it up a tiny bit and that'll fit. Beautiful. That's what we want. All right, we'll drill that again real quick. The things that it's important to learn is when something funky like that happens, recover. How do you recover? What's necessary to resolve the issue? Why did it happen? How can you prevent it? Where's my 3/4 inch mark? Where's my 3/4 inch mark? There it is. All right. We got our depth back. We'll cut our recess again real quick. That's going to be in the way. So that's our little recess tool again. Back in with our skew and cut our chamfer. Or not our skew. Our 1/4 inch beating and parting skew. Now, in an ideal world, if the temperature wasn't dropping and the humidity rising here, I should be able to reinstall the back. This is exactly the same size drilled, right? It's exactly the same wood. And I should be able to make no adjustments and just slap it back in there and start cutting. The problem is wood moves. And even Osage orange is going to have little shifts and moves and things, even in just a few minutes. From scratch again and reset everything. When you have to make a correction like that, start again as if you're starting from zero. So we'll get that in there, make sure that that's seated, and we'll tighten that down harder this time. If I give that 2 full turns, that should do the trick. So I'm going to zero this out, line it up again. Okay, we're just touching. Back it up. And then we'll advance it 20 thousandths of an inch.
Now, the frustrating thing with the female threads is you just can't really see what's going on. It's inside. Male threads, you can watch the whole process so you can see the whole cut. Female, you really just kind of have to feel it. All right, almost there. All right, we're clear. So I cut it 20 thousandths. I'm going to add 20 thousandths. Make another pass. Can you still hear me? Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Sorry, I was muted. We can hear
All
you.
right. Just want to make sure this battery's not dying on me. And we're just about there. There we go. We'll pull that out, make sure that that's clear of any debris. And make a confirmation. Yep, we are cutting all the way to the relief. So we will add the last 6 thousandths of an inch. And we'll go ahead and set this in case when we pull it back, we'll look into it. And if we see flat peaks of our threads, which shouldn't, we might want to make another pass with an additional 3 thousandths of an inch. But I think we should be fine. I think we're going to have good clean threads. Osage orange takes threads very nicely.
Nice, hard, straight grain.
Yeah. Yeah, it really does hold up to it very well. Now, you can thread maple, you can thread cherry, you can thread walnut. You might need to stiffen the grain. Bestwood Tools recommends you use mineral oil, not CA glue. And the reason for that is that they discovered from customers over time that if they stiffened up the grain with CA glue, it chewed up the cutter head and dulled it really fast. Whereas mineral oil soaks into the grain, it expands and it stiffens it up, but it also happens to lubricate the cut. Once you cut the threads, you can seal them with CA glue. But if you want your cutter head to last a long time, they don't recommend that you use CA to stiffen the grains. He had customers that were going through cutter heads in 3 months, and they kept ordering new cutter heads. And he said, "You shouldn't be burning these up so fast. What are you doing?" "Well, we stiffen the grains with CA glue." "Well, there's your problem." All right. So you want to look, we have nice sharp threads. We can go in here with a nylon brush. An old toothbrush works really well, and just clean any little fuzzies out of there. And I will pull this off of there and show you, but turn the lathe all the way down, remove power from the lathe, do something to make sure that if you bump a power switch, this sucker's not going to move, and take it out. Because this is dangerous. Last thing you need is that thing free spinning with you not paying attention and turn around and bump into it and take a finger off. All right. There you go. Nice sharp threads. So now, again, we're turning this from the inside out. So this is our outside surface. So now we'd want to do a little sanding if we needed to, do any little cleanup, and get that prepped for what it's going to look on the bottom piece. And we're just going to part it off and set it aside. So we're going to come in with my ugly homemade thin curve part tool. And the way that I do the thread, when we put the lid in, it'll thread all the way through. There's not, the relief was there for cutting the threads, but we don't need to worry about it as far as when this is mounted in. The lid should have the ability to go all the way through. So you want to take that down most of the way. If you don't want to chase it around the floor of your shop and try to figure out where it ended up, at that point, you want to remember what you did with your thin curve pull saw, which you were using for something else entirely the other day. Alrighty. So you can sand this surface if you want. It really doesn't matter, because that's going to get glued in there, and you want to actually end up having it recessed a little bit, but that's going to get glued in there, and you're never going to see this surface
on the backside of that. So that insert, I use Parfix C400 Flex because the density of the Osage orange is far more than the density of the surrounding maple. This is going to expand and contract more. This is not going to expand and contract as much. So you want your glue, whatever your glue interface, you want it to be able to move with that so that nothing cracks. So that's ready to be glued in, but we have to make our male threads lid, so to speak, to fit in there. So we'll come back to our piece of Osage orange. And first thing we're gonna do is just clean this edge, make a nice clean surface.
JJ, a question was asked, if you're doing multiples, can you make one long and part off more than one?
God, I can't hear you. Say that again.
Could you make that extra long, like 2, 3, 4 times as long, and thread it all the way through, and then cut off as many as you want if you're doing multiples?
The up to the length of the cutter head, which I think mounted only gives me about an inch. But yes, you could. But with 3/4 of an inch depth, that's not that much extra. If you had a longer cutter head, you could. I mean, you could, with a long enough cutter head, you could drill. You could thread for 3 full inches and just lop off sections if you had a long enough cutter head. That's more limitations of just the length of the steel.
Gotcha.
But I could have cut an inch. All right, nice clean surface here. I got that little nub from the Forstner bit. I want to clear that. Make sure we've got a good surface to start from. Now, here's where there's confusion about cutting the male threads, except it's really not confusing. Give me just a second. My apologies, but my sinuses are rebelling. It's something that blooms as soon as the sun goes down, and it's killing me. Not sure which next flower it is, but it's full bloom right now. Okay, here's where there's confusion, but it's really not that confusing. Remember when I started cutting the thread, I told you the depth of a 12 threads per inch is 46 thousandths of an inch. So in order to make the tenon the right size to fit, you want to take your female threads, cut the inside diameter, which should be right around 3/4 of an inch. It'll be a little bit off of it because you did cut threads, 776 thousandths. That number is really not important. Zero it, add the 46 thousandths depth of the threads you just cut and the 46 thousandths depth of the threads you're about to cut, or 92 thousandths of an inch. So you just open your digital caliper up to 92. And lock it. This is the diameter of the tenon that you need to cut male threads that will fit your female threads. That's it. The only math you need to do is to add, and you really don't need to do that if you can count to 92. So lay it down. This caliper's got really nice sharp points. I can give myself a target. Now, Because of the way that this is going to mount, I'm going to basically countersink my female threads, right? So I want to consider a shoulder, and it really doesn't matter how long my male threads are, as long as I have 3 full threads, because if I had an inch long male threads, it'd just screw all the way through. So as long as I get 3 full threads, it really doesn't matter how long that is. What's more important is the little head at the end of it. And we're going to figure out and fit that. But it really doesn't matter how long it is, as long as it's at least 1/4 of an inch long, so I get 3 full threads. So we're going to go a little over 1/4 of an inch so that we can cut a shoulder, but we're really not worried about going much past that. And again, that 3 full threads is the engineer's number that they tell you. If you have 3 full threads, you've got a solid connection. Oh, the face shield back on. So this is a 1/4 inch feeding and padding tool. So I want to go a bit past it. Give myself a little bit of space because I've got to cut a neck. The equivalent of if I cut the inside of the female threads, I've got to cut on the male. Look at this real quick, because I can't see my mark very clearly. Okay, that is my mark. Okay. So this tenon is the trickiest part about using a threading jig, because you want to try to cut this tenon as close to perfect as humanly possible. This is the trickiest part right here. And I can see that I'm actually angled in that way a little bit. I've got a little bit of a dovetail, so I've got to fix that. But I want to start making sure that my sides are parallel right now before I even get close to the actual diameter, so that when I hit the diameter, I've got good clean sides. This tenon's the trickiest part of this whole procedure right here. We're going to go down and measure it again. Double check our mark. Okay, we're getting closer. I have parallel sides. Gotta take my face shield off because it's getting in the way of seeing my sides. I do have safety glasses on though. All right, we are very close. We have parallel sides. We're right on the verge of our diameter. Right there. We're just going to brush it a little bit with the tool. Might be it. Voila. That is the diameter that we need for our male threads. Now, we have to have a shoulder, like I was saying. It's the equivalent of the relief that we cut on the other side, on the inside. That gives the thread, the cutter, place to escape. Got a little tiny bit deeper. Now, the other thing that we need to consider is that that's going to sink in here. So I want to try to consider a depth where I want that to sink to. And I'm going to give myself a little shoulder that's 1 1/8, maybe a little bit smaller than 1 1/8, but I want that to screw down in there so I can go about that a couple of ways. Eyeballing it really, because I haven't glued this in yet, eyeballing it is fine. Or I can just set a depth with my other caliper, and that's going to be right at 1/8 of an inch. So we can go 1/8 of an inch, and we know that that's going to be, we want it just under this diameter. Okay, so we'll just make that shoulder real quick now so that we're not fussing with it when we can accidentally bump our. So we're eyeballing 1/8 of an inch.
Eyeball, 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 eyeball.
I'm sorry?
Eyeball, eyeball, eyeball.
Yeah, yeah. This one does not have to be exact. It just needs to be so that that actually countersinks when you screw the top closed. So
Right.
that's going to be kind of the width of our piece, and that's going to matter here after we cut the threads, which we are about to do. So get up real quick. No longer need our digital caliper. Put that away. That one we don't want to bounce off the floor. Well, we don't want to bounce either of them off the floor, but it's a little more devastating to that one. Go ahead and turn the lathe all the way down so that if we do bump the power after we get the cutter head in, there's less chance of us hurting ourselves. And ideally, if it's easy to do, you just want to cut the power to your lathe while you're dealing with this thing. That's the smartest thing to do. All right, so we're going to make sure that that's actually, let me loosen that up a little bit. Make sure that that's all the way in, and then we're going to give it 2 full turns, make sure that that's nice and snug. Bring up the Baxter. All right, now here's where your bed lock really comes in handy. And if you forget to put it on at this point, it's got a nice chamfer on it so that when you do put it on after you've forgotten and there's shavings all over the bedway, you can still get it butted up straight against the Threadmaster, because the chamfer will push the shavings out of the way. But this is where you should install it. Temperature's dropped and my bedway shrinking. So you just want to snug that up. Doesn't have to be super tight, but you want to make sure it doesn't move. So at this point, when I pull this away and fit to the female threads, I can put it back to the exact same spot if I need to make any modifications. Zero this back out. And here you can see Let me slide you over. Here you can see what I'm talking about when I say you want it just touching the wood. You do this on the inside too. I forgot to cut a chamfer right here. I'm not going to go back and do it, but you should have a chamfer right here. That's the right way to do it. I screwed up and missed that. There should be a chamfer there. Not the end of the world. All right, so you want to spin this a little. That's a little too close. Back that off a hair. I'm just touching. Just touching. I'm just taking a little bit of scratch of wood off. That's where I want that to be. I back that out. And then we're going to turn the wheel to 20 thousandths of an inch. And we're going to cut this 20 thousandths of an inch at a time. We're just starting to cut. And we will just get 3 full threads, which is perfect. You see where that neck comes in? It comes clear. Cutter head's clear. So that's a little less than half of the depth of our threads. Add 20 more thousandths. Now you've got a little bit of where it gets really thin, get a little fuzzies and chipping. You just get your brush in there, clears that right out. And we will cut the last 6 thousandths of an inch. Now I have the bed lock there, so I can pull this back. And I can test fit. And that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Not bad at all. I'm going to, I think I'm happy with that. That's pretty good. Not bad. I think we'll take it. I could take about 2 thousandths more off and loosen that up a little, but that's so close it's negligible. I think we're going to be fine with that. Oh, we're done.
Nice clean. That is a nice clean thread.
Isn't that gorgeous? It just, and then you see the little.
Wow.
Very nice.
Very, very nice. Yeah.
This point, if you want to hit that with CA glue and make sure that those threads are going to stay, this is when you put the CA glue on after you cut it. So if you feel like you need to stabilize that and make sure those, like if this is walnut, I'd be soaking that with CA glue right now, just to make sure those stay. Okay. So I want to get this out of the way and get that cutter out of my way and boxed up so that I don't have to look at it, because it cuts you if you look at it funny.
Right.
That thing's sharp.
I nicked my
After you
from it earlier.
stabilized it with CA glue, and you have everything still set, wouldn't you let the CA glue dry and then run it through at the same thread pass one more time, just to clean up any excess CA glue so your fit's better?
If you have excess CA glue, you could do that. Again, Bestwood really recommends highly against cutting CA glue, because it chews for whatever reason, when you stabilize that thread with CA glue, it chews up your cutter head really fast. So if you're willing to spend, I think these are $60 every 3 or 4 months, cut CA glue. But if you want to kind of make your cutter head last, that's the last thing you want to do, is put CA glue on it and then cut it again. So it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. With Osage Orange, I'm not worried about those. I mean, nobody's going to be playing catch with this, so I'm not worried about those threads going anywhere. If it was something like, say, a child's toy that's a little box or something for a kid, I might stabilize those threads. And that's where, if I put an extra 0.02 of an inch on there and then glued it again, put glue on it, that 0.02 of an inch should more than as long as I'm not dumping CA glue on there, that should more than cover any little expansion the CA glue gives. So you can do it, but I don't recommend it. And again, the one does the other. Yeah.
Can you cut threads with that in stabilized wood?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, Steve Pritchard, I believe is his name, from South Carolina, is who I got this idea from. And all the wood that he threads, he stabilizes everything he threads. Osage Orange, that's overkill in my opinion.
Yeah.
But like but he'll thread wormy maple, wormy spalted maple, but he stabilizes it. But the nature of the stabilization resin is different than CA glue. We're talking about different materials. CA is other resins. Guess that it's a combination of the chemicals in the acrylic and the wood that makes it chew up your. And that, again, it's preference. If you don't mind buying cutters every 3 or 4 months, CA glue it. Knock yourself out. Personally, I really don't want to have to order new cutters every 3 or 4 months.
Oh. What a great demo.
Okay, so all we got to do is now finish our lid, which is at the bottom of our base, right?
Oh,
and
outstanding.
That's actually pretty quick, as long as you know how to cut it. Hang on, let me close this up so it doesn't fill with shavings. Yep. By the way, I keep my Threadmaster, just because I'm a veteran and it's funny, I keep it in an ammo can. So
there we go.
It's a perfect size. That's a 800 round 5.56 cannon. It actually holds it perfectly.
4650 what?
Class.
What's those first 4 numbers? 4650? I can't remember.
No. LC 18E3.
No. There's a nomenclature stock class number on there.
No, that's it. I have no clue. I just know we have a really big Army Navy surplus store up the road, and I got that for like $20, and it works perfect. And Vic from Bestwoods laughed at me. And I'm like, hey, I can transport it safely. I know it's not going anywhere. All right, so we have lots of room right here for a reason, and that's so that we can finish our lid. Because unless And I don't think I have one this size. A trick that I figured out, when I'm making multiple little there it is. When I'm making multiple little threaded acorns, I've got this waist block. This is a bigger size, but I made a female. And since I'm cutting everything, since I'm drilling my recess for my female threads, I know that the sides are straight, and I know that the female threads are generally going to be all the exact same size. My male threads should also generally be all the exact same size. I can just put this in a chuck, screw it into this waist block, and finish the other side of my male threads, if it's the same size. So if you're cranking out a bunch and you're using standardized sizes, you should be able to make yourself a waist block with the female threads to do what we're about to do and finish cutting the male plug for this kind of thing. This size is a little smaller than I've generally been working. So I don't have that set up for that one, which is 1.25 inches. But I've been working at 3/4 of an inch lately. And so I just don't have one set up for that because the way the acorns work, I don't need it. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in with our parting tool. We're going to start above our diameter for our plug. And we're going to angle toward the center. So that we're undercutting it. I think I watched Richard Raffin do something like this. I think that's where I learned this. Cut with our skew chisel.
Does he have enough room?
No, I got a little bit of that corner off. I'll just there. Not with that big skew.
Right.
Now,
Yeah,
I do have a mini skew, but it's springy. And I'm too far off the edge of the tool rest to trust it. That's why I'm using my big one skew, because that steel on that mini skew is too springy. But I have room now. I'm gonna get right down in there. But I want a nub. Because the very last step of this is, how do you open and close it when it's underneath there? You got to have a way to do that, right? So I want a nub. You better work. Okay, I've got a little nub here. That gives me a center, which allows me to come in. Of course, I don't have the right blade on my Dremel. Doggone it. Hang on just a second. That was 3 projects ago.
Think, 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 think.
So I'm gonna. And now normally I'm going to put this back between centers and reshape it a little and sand it because this is actually pretty nice and it's going to make a nice finished piece. Normally I would have already glued my female in here. So I'd have that glued in there and I would screw this in. And we'll do it that way. Hopefully it'll allow us to, but I'd screw this in and that's why I wanted that to be, see that fits underneath there. And then I have this whole nice big handle to hold this. Okay. Let me plug this in. So I want that middle.
Put sound effects in there.
Bzz, bzz. I hear it just fine.
Just a little at a time. Let the wheel cut.
Yep.
Just cutting a little screwdriver slot, right?
Yep.
Yeah, a little coin slot. And that's it. That's all it needs. Just that little bit. And I don't have any coins out here. So then you can do a little bit of little hand sanding. I don't have any coins out here, but what I do have is a scraper. Actually, I don't need that. I just use the edge of my dirty.
You got a recess cutter for a screwdriver.
Yeah. I got a regular screwdriver. Now, depending on how tight your threads are, you could actually mess this up with a regular screwdriver. So you're better off using something long and skinny. Okay.
Right.
And depending on how soft the wood is. All right. So that's how you open and close it. And that will fit a dime or a quarter. And so then you have a neat little hideaway vase. And honestly, when you're not explaining it step by step, this takes about an hour to make from start to finish. But there you have. And it looks like a real vase. You can stick a couple sticks or twigs in there, but it doesn't go all the way through. And I can show you that. So it is usable as an urn or a keepsake urn. Say if you're spreading a tiny bit of ashes between 5 or 6 family members, you need a few of these. You can hollow and make it bigger. You can make this at a larger scale and hollow it so that it is an actual full pet urn. But what you don't want is the 2 holes on the top and the bottom of the meat. That's solid. That's solid. So if you are going to market this as an urn, you absolutely need to make sure that you don't go all the way through. But you still have enough neck. I drilled that 4 inches deep. So you still have enough neck that you can stick something in it that looks like a flower or whatever, and it looks good. Any questions?
So we got a question. You can turn that neck off axis, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say, absolutely, you can.
Yes. In fact, I showed, I have one. It's in the house. And I showed it a couple weeks ago. But what I did, now remember, there's no tenon, right? The way that I do this, there's no tenon, but there is a jam. So what I did was I put my jam in a duck's chuck. Okay. And then I offset it. And the key to that is make sure that this jam is good because it's going to want to twist. And when you're offset with the duck chuck and if it twists with the duck chuck in, this is going to be straight, completely parallel, just over. If it twists on the duck's chuck, you lose parallel.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So you've got to make sure that jam is solid. And that was a challenge I had. I overcame it with paper towels. But that was a challenge I had. That was something I learned when I did the offset. But I did one of these that's offset a full inch, and it looks really cool. I think it's in the newsletter 3 newsletters ago.
I think
I can't
so.
remember. It's in the house. So I can't go get it to show you. But yes, you can offset it. You can offset it. You can do a traditional offset where it's at a weird, funky angle. There's no rule that says you can't. You can do a duck's chuck offset. Once you get the basic procedure down, from there, look, you could make your basic body of the vase, start the neck, and then just turn a weird corner and have your neck go some other way. There's no rules. Right. There's no, the sky's the limit. It's up to you how you do that.
Yeah.
My solution was a duck's chuck, which again, long doesn't twist on the duck chuck and your sides remain parallel. It works great and it looks really cool. So that's an option. Now this is, again, we use the golden ratio, the golden mean. Where the bottom here is the 1 and the neck is the 1.68. But there's nothing that says that your bottom can't be the 1.68 and you have a shorter neck. But the whole thing with the golden ratio or the golden mean is historically artists have determined that this 1 to 1.68 ratio is the perfect ideal ratio. It's the ratio of the bottom of your nose to the bottom of your chin to the top of your forehead. It's the ratio of your eyes. It's the perfect ratio. And if you match
of your eyes to your nose to your mouth.
Yeah, eyes to your nose to your mouth.
Of your chin to your mouth to your nose.
Right. And so the closer a person's proportions are to the golden mean or the golden ratio, the more perfect the person's appearance is, according to the artists who came up with this. So the close, and a lot of people fudge it to 1/3, 2/3, which is close, but not exact.
Close.
It's close. And you can get if you go 1/3, 2/3, you're close enough that people say, "Oh, that looks really good." If you match the golden ratio, people go, "Whoa, that's perfect." And that's the difference. "Oh, that's really good. That looks really good." And wow. So it's something to play with. Read about it. In the discussion and conversation, Da Vinci was really big on the golden ratio. Da Vinci talked a lot about it. I'm trying to think who else, but you find the 1 to 1.68 ratio throughout classic art for centuries.
Well, yeah, that Fibonacci guy, he was something else with those numbers. He's the one that came up with that perfect.
The perfect spiral, which we find in nature. Fibonacci is pretty cool because it's 1, 2, 3, 5, and you just add the prior number. So 8, and then 13. You just add the prior number, and it creates a perfect spiral. And of cauliflower, you find it in the chambered nautilus. It's the nature's perfect ratio.
You find it in prehistoric seashells. It's everywhere. The golden mean and the Fibonacci number ratio or number pattern, it's in everything.
Yeah,
everything that
absolutely.
you look at. You look at any type of construction, from antiquity to
the Greeks and Romans. the Greeks and Romans designed
right.
ratios. And,
So it was invented,
the,
several millennia ago, and we're just
yeah,
rediscovering it
yeah,
and incorporating it in what we do. Because if you follow the golden ratio to 1.618 on adding it, just taking a basic bowl, you turn your bowl, you got a 9-inch diameter, and you take that 9 inches and you divide that by 1.618. That's going to tell you what your base is supposed to be. And now you can
right.
just connect that curve. Now
Yep.
you've
Or you
made
could just
now
go,
you've made a
here's my
bowl that's
diameter,
not a
there's my
Velcro bowl.
base.
Exactly.
And yeah, that's why this tool is really useful. Oh, that's the diameter of my bowl. That's what my base needs to be. And that's the perfect ratio. And then you can look at the side and you can say, the wide spot of my bowl is here. The top of my bowl is here. The bottom of my bowl is here. And if your curve matches that, however you do it, but you have those ratios, that bowl's going to look more pleasing to the eye.
Right.
Um,
Whether it's a
the,
bowl or a box, urn,
yeah,
it all follows the same.
the OG placement of the OG. If you look at the coolest OG you ever saw, it can almost guarantee that the low point, it's not 50-50, it's 1.68 to 1. Lid to body of a box. That when I make boxes, that's why we want these at Level Up, because I'm going to be teaching boxes. Body is 1.68, lid is 1. And if you set things at that proportion, it looks right to the human eye. It just fits.
And then you got the finial, and you use that scale, to determine,
Same thing.
what is that?
Yep.
What is that length of that finial going to be? And then what's the width, the diameter, the max diameter of that finial going to be?
And
the details that you put in on that finial.
Right, you can break all that down to this ratio.
Right.
So you can actually take that ratio all the way through the development of a piece and come up with a classically balanced piece, because it uses the numbers that have been used for millennia.
Amen.
So, it's fun.
Thank you.
It's fun to play with it. It gives you targets and it gives you things to aim with and say, well, what if I make it look like this? How can I make this shape fit? And your shapes start to become more pleasing. At least in my experience.
Right.
Yep. Any other questions?
Floor is open. Anybody got any questions? We're in overtime.
That
I don't know,
was
JJ.
good. Thank you.
You are such a good explainer of what you're doing. So you pretty much cover every question by the time they get popped into the chat.
That's my goal. Yeah, my goal is to not leave questions.
It's always a joy. It's always
thank you.
Joy. And that was a great project, and it was great, seeing that Baxter machine, the Baxter Threadmaster, and demonstrated.
Yeah.
So
we will go into the Threadmaster in depth on September.
Yep. September 19th, JJ
into
will
the
be
gritty of it. Yeah.
He will be doing a standalone, all inclusive on how to use it.
Yep.
Everybody can just sit back and watch and listen and learn and take what they can learn from it.
And there's only one competitor in the US to the Threadmaster, and I've not seen it. The coolest thing to me about using the Threadmaster is, as long as I'm on with my measurements, I can repeat the same thing over and over. So when I'm making my acorns, I can make 10 of them and I can swap lids between any of the bodies and they all fit. And that's the benefit of using a jig over hand threading, is you're going to cut the same thing repeatedly. So if you're trying to make multiples, the repeatability and accuracy with the Threadmaster is unmatched. And it makes it so that you end up saving an immense amount of time, because you can swap lids out with bodies and they all fit each other. So, and I've done that.
Hey, JJ. It was a very nice night. What you turned tonight, the vase Now, are you going to hollow the bottom out? And if you are, how are you going to hold it?
It's already hollowed.
No, I thought you were going to go deeper. I mean, more thinner.
No.
JJ, we lost your audio.
We lost your mic.
Okay. Hang on.
We got you now.
Okay. I can't hold it now. I made that decision before I started the demo, Al. So while I had it where I had all the bulk here, that's when I should have come in with the hollowing tools if I was going to do that. But that would have added 25, 30 minutes to the demo. So I made that decision before we even started. Make sense?
Yeah, yes, absolutely. Nice night. Thanks a lot, man. Very enjoyable.
No problem. My pleasure.
All right.
You can still have a little small stash box. It just won't be a big one.
Yeah, this one's just not a big one. And again, I made the decision for the speed and expediency of doing a demo.
Appreciate it, JJ.
This is a demo piece. But I actually think I can get it back between centers because I didn't glue in my bottom. So I can get it back between centers and polish it up and actually make this a sellable piece. It just won't be very big. So.
Beautiful.
And here's another cool thing. When you start threading, you can end up with a collection of little inserts that say I decide I'm not happy with this, but this is great. I can just save this and stick it in a different piece. So,
right.
Don't throw things away. You know, Cat Meddy's bucket of cutoffs, which I need to start a third one of. Make a bucket of threads. You know,
it's good practice. At a minimum, it's good practice. You know,
absolutely.
In anything and everything that you do.
Absolutely.
However, I will say I used to make finials all the time, and 2 years ago, I took my box of finials because every time I'd go to use a finial on any of my projects, I'm like, yeah, that one don't work. Yeah, that one don't work. Yeah, that one don't work. And I got frustrated. I took that whole box. I probably had 100, 120 of them in there. Took them all out to my burn, my number 3 tub, and put it there by the chimney, and that was kindling. Watch them burn up, you know. We do fires at night. Yep. So I'm not a fan of pre-making finials. But yeah.
Okay.
Practice. Practice. Yep. All right. So with that, what an evening we had tonight. We had great gallery, we had great discussion, and we had a fantastic demonstration on how to use the Baxter Threadmaster, and we got to learn how to make a hideaway urn or you know, you want to just hide something up in there. You want to throw some money up in there, and it looks like a weed pot because you got weeds stuck up on top because it's not a hole or a hollow all the way through. It's 2 different chambers. What a great project. Thank you, JJ, for inviting us into your shop and showing us how to do that.
My pleasure. And listen, these are fun to make, and they make cool gifts because people look at it and go, what is this? And when you explain it, they go, oh, wow. Right. They may never stick anything in it. But when somebody says, what a cool vase, they pick it up and go, look, you can hide stuff in it.
Right. And then make sure you take a picture once you get it all finished and everything. Make sure you take a picture of it and send it into the editor at worldwidewoodturners.org. So you can.
I don't know about emailing anything to that guy.
And make sure you know by default you've got a 3 to 4 ratio on your camera. At least on Androids you do. Take a picture with your Android. Send them into the newsletter. Guaranteed, minimum of one of those pictures will be into the newsletter. Give us a description of what the project is, what the wood is, how you finished it, and of course, make sure you add your name to your email because
please,
when you send an email that says XYZ blah 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 at Gmail or Yahoo or Hotmail, we don't know who XYZ is. You know, put your name in there, please. You know, sign it bottom. You know, I'm Cordy John, And that way we can give you proper credit for it, and at the same time save us from having to respond back and say, great pictures, we got them. Who are you? What's your name? So, all right. So with that, if there's no other questions about the main meeting here, make sure you go to our YouTube every week, Saturday or Sunday. Dave gets everything posted, for the YouTube. At a minimum, you guys should at least go in to the YouTube channel, open up the video, and give it a like. You ain't got to watch it, but at minimum, give it a like. Support us like you're here every week. It doesn't take much. But anyway, with that, for those that want to booger off, we'll see you next week. I'm going to keep things open. I'm going to keep things open for the after hours, and my only requirement is you got to have your camera on. You need to unmute yourself, and you need to partake. If you don't partake and you don't have your camera on, we'll see you next week. So,
Dane, I'm going to get out of here. I got a long day of turning tomorrow. I have a major show
I don't blame you,
next.
man. Get out of here. Go have a cocktail and hit the rack, brother. I appreciate
the bourbon's calling.
Great demo.
Have a good night, y'all.